Chapter 1963. Everyone welcomes you. Please remember this site's address, so that you can read the latest chapters of Crazy Wife, 5th Miss Divine Doctor. Fushi laid on the bed for 2 days before the pain slowly subsided. However, Sima Yue did not immediately give him the next electric shock. After a few more days, when his body was completely healed, she gave him the second electric shock. After the second time, Mou came over and saw Wu Lingyu resting at the side, as well as Fushi with a pale face and Sima Yue who was packing her things. Yue. Sima Yue turned her head and looked at Mou. You're here. Twice, how is it? Mou asked. See for yourself. Sima Yue said. Mou raised his eyebrows and came to Fushi's side. He stretched out his hand to check him and said, Not bad, it's starting to take effect in such a short time. I think it will start to grow again after a while. Indeed. Sima Yue nodded. Seeing Fushi's pale face, she said doubtfully, Actually, Fushi's situation is troublesome, but it's also simple. As long as we seal the divine dragon's power and stimulate his body to grow again, it'll be fine. You're right. But, if we can think of this, why can't his master and the others? That's impossible, right? Isn't their place even more powerful? How can they not think of this? Sima Yue said doubtfully. Master said. Fushi opened his eyes and said weakly, They can't touch the power in my body. Only people with the power of divine beasts can do it. For divine beasts? That's right. Fushi said, You have divine beasts, right? That's why you can move the power to a place and let Mou seal it for me. I see. Then you didn't look for his divine beasts? I don't know what happened that year. 4 divine beasts, the divine dragon died and injected all its power into the divine dragon order. The other 3 divine beasts were scattered all over the world. Thousands of worlds, 3 divine beasts. It's not easy to find them. Fushi explained. You're saying that the battle happened in your world? Sima Yue asked. Yeah. Fushi said, Master said that after those divine beasts went through the battle, they were injured and went into hibernation. If they didn't come out on their own, no one would be able to find them. It turns out that your master knew that only those with 3 divine beasts could help you in your situation. Then your second master is really a fraud. What? Although my second master is usually a charlatan, there are many things that he can calculate accurately. Fushi said. You see, since he knows that only 3 mythological beasts can save you, that means you've been looking for the whereabouts of the mythological beast. It just so happens that our old principal went there and became friends with your second master. Then wouldn't he know that I have a divine beast? Sima Yue analyzed. But master doesn't know that you've come to the ghost realm. Moreover, does your old principal know that you have a divine beast? That's true. Sima Yue nodded. But I heard that meeting-related people would be the medium for the divination. Perhaps the old principal is that medium. That's very possible. Fushi agreed with this point of view. I heard second master mention this before. I don't know where the 2 divine beasts are. Sima Yue touched her chin. I'm a little curious about the other 2 divine beasts now. I think they shouldn't be here with us. Wu Lingyu said. Everyone knows that you have divine beasts. If they're here and know this news, they should come looking for you. That's true. Looks like we won't have the chance to meet them. Sima Yue said with some regret. That's not necessarily true. You can just come with me to our place. Fushi said. My master said that the 4 divine beasts will go back in the future. Then you will be able to meet them. They'll go back. Sima Yue shook her head. Crimson Flame didn't say that. Crimson Flame? Your contracted beast, Crimson Flame? The divine bird, Vermilion Bird? Fushi was so excited that he wanted to get up, but the pain in his body made him grimace. Sima Yue nodded. Seeing his shining eyes, she rejected him directly. You won't be able to see him. I almost died last time. Although I was saved in the end, my contracted beasts were all seriously injured. Crimson Flame is now in closed-door cultivation. I can't interrupt him. Moreover, if someone came and said that they wanted to see him, then he would only be able to live a peaceful life. Fushi was very disappointed. Then he became excited again. What about the flame? I heard that Crimson Flame's flame is very powerful. Can you let me see this? This request was very easy to satisfy. She opened her hand and the vermilion bird jumped in her palm. Fushi's eyes widened. He wanted to reach out and touch it, but Sima Yue dodged and scolded him. Don't you want your hand? Hee, I was too excited and forgot. Fushi retracted his hand and collapsed on the bed. I really didn't expect that I would be able to see the Nirvana flame. TSK, those fellows are always bragging about how powerful their flames are. Let's see if they can still show off when they see you next time. Let's talk about it later. You should recuperate first. Sima Yue said. Really, you're obviously injured to the point where you can't move, but you still dare to touch me. If your body recovers and you lose an arm because of this, how am I going to explain it to you? I'm too excited. Fushi thought about his actions just now and felt a little scared. Fortunately, Sima Yue was alert and immediately moved it away. Okay, you should rest. Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu left, leaving him alone to continue being excited. Sima Yue returned to her palace. She was thinking about Crimson Flame's matter and did not speak. She wanted to ask Crimson Flame if he really wanted to go there in the future. But he was not willing to tell her before. If she asked now, he might not tell her. Thinking about some of his previous reactions, his sometimes blurred eyes, he probably wanted to go back for revenge. If he really wanted to go back for revenge, she would accompany him. No matter who their opponent was, she would accompany him all the way. Don't worry, Crimson Flame is not a reckless person. If he wants to make a decision, he will definitely say that he has thought it through carefully. Wu Lingyu comforted. Yes. Sima Yue nodded. But with his personality, he doesn't want to say anything. That year, the 4 mythical beasts were defeated by the other party. I don't know who the opponent is and I don't know if they are still there. Yu said. Before you understand these things clearly, you and Crimson Flame should not act rashly. Crimson Flame won't. At this time, Shiyu came in from outside and bowed. Little Princess 99th Princess is here. Chapter 1964. Everyone welcomes your presence. Please remember the address of this website to read the latest chapters of Crazy Wife, Miracle Doctor 5th Miss, at any time. Sima Yue looked at Shiyu. Who is this Princess 99? How many princesses are there? Princess 99 is the daughter of Xing Wang. She's the cousin of the little princess and is also a princess personally conferred by the king. Shiyu explained. Princess 99 used to be around the same age as the little princess and had a good relationship. After that, she followed Wang Ye to the dynasty and rarely came back. Then why is she looking for me? Sima Yue asked. She should know that you're back, so she's here to see you. Shiyu said, Princess, do you want to see her? Since I'm already at Yuhua Palace, let's see her. Sima Yue waved her hands and Shiyu immediately invited her in. Princess 99, please. Sima Yue heard Shiyu's voice and looked up. She saw a woman with an enchanting figure in a lean red dress coming in from outside. Auntie? Yu Wanwan saw Sima Yue and was stunned. Yue greets Princess 99. Sima Yue bowed slightly and stood properly. Yu Wanwan recovered herself and smiled. They all say that you're very similar to your mother. I thought I saw her again just now. Indeed, both of you look alike. Princess 99, we're all from the same generation. You can just call me Cousin Wanwan, Yu Wanwan said. Yes, Cousin Wanwan. Sima Yue readily agreed. She didn't like to be called with such a long name either. Father and I knew that you were back long ago. However, as we were preparing for the dynasty competition, we didn't come back in advance. I thought that I could see you during the dynasty competition, but I didn't expect you to not be in the palace. After hearing the news, I ran over to take a look. Cousin Wanwan, thank you for your concern, Sima Yue said politely. Back then, Auntie and I agreed that we would get married and have children together. I didn't expect you to be so big in the blink of an eye, Yu Wanwan said with a sigh. Sima Yue did not know what to say. She just smiled. She was just his cousin, right? Why was she acting like an elder? Yu Wanwan didn't notice this. Instead, she asked her a lot of questions. Whatever she asked, Sima Yue would answer. I heard that you want to save little Auntie? Yu Wanwan asked. Sima Yue was confused. How did she know about this? You don't have to be so surprised. My relationship with Dijia is still all right, Yu Wanwan explained. Sima Yue understood. How could this go over? The relationship between the two of them was definitely different. That was why he told her such a secretive thing. It was rare for him to have a good relationship with someone. Actually, we weren't that close in the past, Yu Wanwan explained. In the past, both of us didn't see eye to eye with each other. It was only after Little Ant's incident that we could sit down and talk properly. However, what we're talking about is the intelligence we've gathered over the years. So that was the case. Both of them had a good relationship with their mother. Hence, when something happened to their mother, both of them could sit down and discuss how to save their mother. They were considered to be on the same side. Yes, I want to save my mother, Sima Yue admitted. Is the 100 Ghost Gonfalon still with you? Yuan asked. You know about the 100 Ghost Gonfalon too? She even knew that the 100 Ghost Gonfalon was with her. Of course, I know about the 100 Ghost Gonfalon. I even secretly gave it to Deja. I initially wanted him to go to the Immortal Land to collect the ancient war souls. However, he came back and told me that he lost it. After I asked him again and again, he told me about your existence. Yuan gritted her teeth as she talked about this. She was unhappy that Deja hid the whereabouts of the 100 Ghost Gonfalon. The 100 Ghost Gonfalon is with me now. Since she knew about it from Deja, Yue didn't hide it from her. Then give it to me for a period of time, Yuan said. Lin said before that this is to be used to save Mother in the future. If cousin Wanwan wants to take it back, Yue can't agree to it. Sima Yue rejected her. Regardless of what Yuan wanted to do with it, she wouldn't agree to it. If anything happened, she couldn't take this risk. You're thinking the wrong way. I'm not going to do anything with it. Yuan said, I found another ancient battlefield some time ago. This time I've confirmed that there are still war souls inside. Hence, I want to use the 100 Ghost Gonfalon to capture them. There are more spirits inside. When the time comes to save Auntie, we'll be more confident. Cousin Wanwan? Sima Yue didn't expect her to actually want to do this. Although that place hasn't been discovered yet, the people from the Soul Clan have been searching for these ancient war souls. If they discover it, it'll be troublesome. Hence, we have to race against time. It's best if we can rush over now, Yuan said. Yuan. Deja's exasperated voice could be heard from outside. Both of them looked over and saw Deja walking in with a black face. Why are you so fierce? Are you trying to scare me to death? Deja was very scary when his face was black. However, Yuan wasn't afraid of him and glared back. I've said before that this matter can't be told to Yue. You ran into the palace in the blink of an eye. Are you ignoring my words? Deja shouted. If we wait for you to come and ask for the 100 Ghost Gonfalon, how much time would that take? Yuan said, if we tell Yue directly, then Yue will know what we're going to do with the 100 Ghost Gonfalon and give it to us. Deja gave her a look that said, you're an idiot. Then he sat on the other side of Sima Yue and didn't say anything. Cousin, what excuse are you using to take the 100 Ghost Gonfalon away from me? Sima Yue asked. Deja was unhappy. Yuan didn't understand him at all. Speaking of which, she wouldn't give the 100 Ghost Gonfalon to Yuan because they were meeting for the first time. However, if Deja came to find her, she might give it to him. Where is that ancient battlefield? Sima Yue asked Yuan. In a small realm. Yuan said, that small realm is attached to the ghost realm. That's why we found it by accident. Where is that small realm? It's... Yuan paused and looked at her. Why are you asking so clearly? Are you going there? Since we know, we definitely can't let those ancient souls off, Sima Yue said. Well, just leave this matter to us. That small realm isn't easy to go to, Yuan said. That place is very dangerous, right? Sima Yue didn't look at her. Instead, she looked at Deja. So you're planning to take the 100 Ghost Gonfalon behind my back to collect the souls, right? Yes. Now, there was no way to hide it from her. Cousin, you're already very busy usually. The matters at the Soul Society have already left you in a terrible fix. Let me handle this matter myself, Sima Yue said. She wasn't familiar with Yuan. Although she knew that she was a good person, she couldn't take the risk. Hence, the best way was for her to collect those ancient souls personally. Chapter 1965. Yuan finally understood why Deja chose not to tell her the truth. Yue, let me tell you the truth. That place is very dangerous. It's better that you don't go. Although you have very strong guards, it's better to be safe than sorry, Yuan said. If something happened and the guards couldn't protect her, what should she do? Cousin Wanwan, cousin didn't want you to tell me because he knows that he can't stop me after I find out about this. So, you don't have to say so much. Tell me about that small realm. I'll go there and return quickly, Sima Yue said. Yuan looked at Deja and saw that his face was scarily dark. She knew that she might have really done something wrong this time. I'll go with you. That place isn't easy to find. Yuan said to Sima Yue, I was planning to go too. But, let her go with you. Although she's not a good person, she's still useful sometimes, Deja said. Yuan rolled her eyes at him. Even if he wanted to praise her, he didn't say it properly. Sima Yue hesitated for a while, then nodded. Then I'll have to trouble you. Do you need to prepare anything? When can you set off? Yuan asked. I'll go and settle some things. Wait for me for a while. After saying that, Sima Yue went to the side palace and found Mou and the rest. She told them that she was leaving the palace. We don't have any problems. However, is Fushi going too? The Black Shadow asked. Fushi. Sima Yue looked at the child who was staring at her with his eyes wide open. She said to Mou, Fushi, can you follow Mou for a while? When I'm back, I'll bring you back. Fushi wasn't from the ghost world and had the dragon god order. If the Ghost King wasn't in seclusion, he could still be safe. However, now that there was an Anaheim eyeing him covetously, he couldn't stay in the palace. However, it was even more unrealistic for her to bring him to the ancient battlefield. Not to mention where he went, she had to take care of him. He had just undergone electroshock treatment, and it wasn't suitable for him to travel long distances. Fushi also understood that he was now a burden to her, so he agreed to her arrangement. However, will this affect his recovery? Mou asked. I originally planned to observe for a period of time after the second treatment before proceeding with the subsequent treatment. The growth of the body was a continuous process, and there wouldn't be any obvious changes in a short period of time. I'll be back in 2 months. Sima Yue said. Fushi's body only had half a year left. She didn't have that much time to waste. However, she was still a little worried. She was afraid that if something happened, then Fushi would. Wu Lingyu walked over and held her hand, saying, Actually, you can put him in my little realm. If anything happens, we'll know immediately. Can I? Sima Yue looked at Wu Lingyu happily. If he agreed, then this problem would be solved easily. Although I don't really like Little Ghost, since you want to cure him, I can only support you. Wu Lingyu said. Thank you, Lingyu. Sima Yue smiled at him gratefully and said, Fushi, you can go to Lingyu's little realm. This way there won't be any delays. After that, Wu Lingyu opened the little realm and brought Fushi in. Sima Yue then brought them to find Yu Wanwan and set off with her. Yu Wanwan didn't bring many people. There were only 20 people in total. However, she said that these people had their own abilities and could fight against 100 people. Using Yu Wanwan's method, they only took a few days to reach the entrance of the little realm. They found this little realm by accident. I asked them to go out and check the ancient battlefield, but I didn't expect them to find it here. Yu Wanwan explained to them, After I received the news, I went inside to check. There were indeed ancient souls. However, the people guarding inside said that this little realm was connected to the Soul Society, so they seemed to have people coming in too. However, the people from both sides didn't meet each other directly. The people from the Soul Clan have a strong desire for souls. If they know that there are ancient souls here, I'm afraid they will come and snatch them. Mou, who asked to come along because he was bored, said. Indeed. That's why we want to get the 100 Ghost banner as soon as possible to keep those ancient souls, Yu Wanwan said. She used the barrier-breaking stone to open the little realm. Once she entered, she saw some aristocrats. When those people saw her, they immediately went forward and bowed. Princess, how's the situation in the little realm? Yu Wanwan asked. Seeing that they were injured, she frowned. What happened? Princess, the people from the Soul Clan have indeed arrived. The guard lowered his head and said, And they have already entered the ancient battlefield. What did you say? Aren't you guarding here? The people from the Ghost Realm are Yanjin. Yanjin is actually here? Yu Wanwan's heart sank. Seeing that they were all in low spirits, she said, Forget it. It's already not easy for you to stay alive after encountering them. Who is this Yanjin? Sima Yue asked. He's the second in charge of the main sect. Mou said, This person's sound attack is superb. Even a leaf can be turned into a killing weapon in his hands. If even you say so, it seems like this person is not simple. The second in charge of the main sect. I wonder if he knows about what happened in Immortal Sorcerer City. Sima Yue felt that she was a little clashing with the main sect. Whether he knows or not, he's not someone to be trifled with. You have to be careful, Yu Wanwan said. Actually, according to her thoughts, when she knew that Yanjin was here, she wanted Sima Yue to go back. However, after thinking about what Deja said to her, she decided to forget it. Even if she said it, Sima Yue would probably ignore it. How many people did they bring? How long have they been in there? Sima Yue asked. Not many. Just 3 people. However, all 3 of them are very powerful. They have been in there for almost half a day. Then we can still catch up with them if we go in. Sima Yue said, Cousin Wanwan, since the other party is using sound attacks, don't bring your people in. Sound attacks were very lethal against group attacks. It was useless for those people to go in. They would just be sacrificing themselves in vain. Yu Wanwan understood as well. Hence, after thinking for a while, she agreed. Indeed, sound attacks were different from other attacks. Even if they wanted to go in, they could not be meat shields. In the end, she only chose 4 people to go in with her. Sima Yue and the rest went in. The 4 guards led the way in front while the rest followed behind. Once they entered the ancient battlefield, they felt waves of cold air floating around. Some of them even had spiritual intelligence. When they saw them, they took the initiative to attack them. However, they were purified by Sima Yue's fire. Chapter 1966. The ancient battlefield here couldn't be compared to the one in the immortal land. However, there were still many dangers. Behind the aura with spiritual intelligence, there were broken spaces. If they weren't careful, they would be torn apart by these broken spaces. Be careful, Sima Yue shouted. At the same time, she turned her spiritual power into a rope and tied Yuanwan and the 4 people in front of her. She pulled them back forcefully. The clothes of the guard in front floated up and suddenly broke from the middle. Everyone watched as the corner of the clothes was torn into pieces and disappeared. Yuanwan had never been so deep into this ancient battlefield before. Thus, she didn't know the situation here. There were a few times when she almost fell into the broken spaces. This time Yue saved her again. Thank you, Yue. If not for you, I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to get out. Yuanwan said gratefully. You're welcome. You did it for my mother. Sima Yue said, however, we've just entered the ancient battlefield and there are so many broken spaces. The closer we get to the center, the more there will be. Although it's dangerous, there are also benefits. Wu Lingyu said, this way Yanjin and the rest won't be able to walk fast. Indeed. Sima Yue agreed with him and said to Yuanwan, Cousin Wanwan, I'm afraid the road ahead will be more dangerous. You guys aren't familiar with the space. Why don't you go back the same way first? According to the route we took just now, it's safe to go back. She didn't say it clearly, but everyone understood what she meant. They weren't sensitive to space and it was easy for what happened just now to happen. If such a situation happened again, firstly, they would be in more danger. Secondly, they would be a burden and affect the entire express delivery. If Yanjin and the rest didn't walk fast, they would want to chase after them quickly. It was indeed inconvenient to bring the 5 of them along. Although Yuanwan was worried about her safety, she understood that she wouldn't be of much help if she stayed. Thus she agreed. Alright, we won't be a burden to you. Yanjin isn't easy to deal with. You guys have to be careful. We will. Remember to take the long way back. Sima Yue liked this cousin of hers more now, although she always looked at her like an elder. Alright. Yuanwan led them back to where they came from, and Sima Yue and the rest continued to move forward. Since they didn't know which direction Yanjin and the others had gone and where they were now, they had to speed up. With 5 less people, their team's range had shrunk quite a bit. In this place full of spatial faults, it was much more convenient. Every time they encountered a fault, they could quickly react and avoid it. At the same time, a few hundred miles away from them, Yanjin was leading 2 people towards the center. Yanqi, we have been walking for so many days and we haven't even seen a shadow. Are you sure there are ancient war souls here? Xiahan questioned. If you don't believe me, you don't have to follow me, Yanjin said indifferently, not putting the evil soul in his eyes at all. Yanqi, what kind of attitude is this? We're working for the general this time. If you mess it up, the general won't forgive you. Evil soul shouted. Yanjin didn't even want to look at him. You're Kuhi's subordinate commander. I'm not. If something happens, Rook won't blame me. Aren't you an array master yourself? Then you can walk on your own. You don't have to follow us. If I can walk on my own, why would I need you guys? Evil Soul looked at Bandit E, who was beside Yanjin. Everyone in the Soul Society knew that this person was very skilled in arrays. His understanding of space had already reached the acme of perfection. Along the way, he had already discovered many broken spaces and spatial faults, which had saved his life a few times. If he didn't follow him, he wouldn't be able to walk 2 miles with his level. It was hateful that such a talent only listened to Yanjin and wasn't willing to be used by the general. If not, why would he need to bring Yanjin here? Thinking about Yanjin's arrogant look, he was furious. One day, he would ruthlessly step on him under his feet. Someone's coming. Bandit E, who had been silent, suddenly spoke. Evil Soul sensed for a while. There was no one around. He said in disbelief, I didn't sense anyone nearby. How do you know? There's a fluctuation in space, Bandit E said. Alright, if this guy said so, then it should be the case. To be able to walk into your sensing range, it seems like the other party has a powerful array master, Yanjin said. I wonder who it is. Could it be Dijur and Yuanwan? If it's them, we can use these spatial faults to settle them here. If the ghost world doesn't have Deja, its strength will be greatly reduced, Evil Soul said excitedly. The people they met outside previously were Yuanwan's people. He wanted to settle them, but Yan Jin said to quickly come in to collect the ancient souls and not to waste time there. Thus he gave up. If it was Deja and Yuanwan who came this time, he would definitely not let go of this opportunity. Yan Jin looked at Bandit E. Bandit E shook his head. He could only sense that someone was coming. As to who it was, he couldn't sense it. However, as Yan Jin said, to be able to chase here so quickly, there must be a powerful array master among them. He wanted to meet this array master. Let's just wait here, Evil Soul said. No, let's continue to walk forward. Yan Jin rejected his suggestion. I know you want to kill Deja, but the person who came might not be Deja. Let's go and collect the ancient souls first. Since they came here, their target must be the ancient souls. When we reach the center of the ancient battlefield and collect the ancient souls, they will be here too. You're right. Then let's go to the center and wait for them. Evil Soul agreed, and the three of them continued to walk forward. Bandit E was more serious than before. He avoided many dangers in advance and sped up their speed. At this moment, Sima Yue also sensed their presence. Yan Jin and the rest are in front. They should have noticed us and sped up, she said. They should have brought Bandit E, Mou said. Who is Bandit E? He's the best array master in the Soul Society. He doesn't belong to any forces and is Yan Jin's friend. He only listens to Yan Jin. Qing Hun's words are useless to him. Qing Hun allowed such a person to exist. Sima Yue was a little surprised. A person who didn't belong to any forces. As a ruler, he wouldn't want to miss such a talent. However, Qing Hun allowed him to have such a good relationship with the second in charge of the Main sect. It said that he sent people to capture him, but they were all wiped out. Mou explained the reason in one sentence. Among all the professional masters, array masters were the most powerful. One array could kill many people. It could attack and defend. Its combat power was extraordinary. It seemed that Bandit E was indeed powerful. Chapter 1967. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book web no pop-up window free to read. No matter how powerful that Bandit One is, he can't stop me from finding the ancient war soul. Sima Yue said, they increased their speed. I think they want to catch the ancient war soul in front of us. They might even want to dig a hole for us. Then we have to increase our speed. If we let them catch the ancient war soul, we would have wasted our time. Black Shadow said. We really have to increase our speed. Sima Yue said, but we won't take this route. Not here? Then where should we go? Let's go one round. In this small space, she and Bandit One could feel each other's presence. If they chased after them, they would only give Bandit One a chance to kill them. Why not go one round? Although it would take some time, it would be safer, and Bandit One wouldn't be able to judge their speed based on their position. Thus, they changed their route and went in a different direction. They're gone. Bandit One said. So, we've already shaken them off? Evil Spirit said, we've shaken them off so quickly, seems like their array master isn't as good as you, Bandit One. Bandit One ignored his flattery and said to Yan Jin, there's another possibility. They didn't take this route. How is that possible? They definitely know that we came in. They know that we're in front of them. If they didn't take this route, how could they catch up with us? Evil Spirit said disapprovingly. Their route was the shortest route. If they didn't take this route, they would have to take a long detour. For the current situation, it was indeed impossible. Let's not care about them. Let's go and catch the ancient war soul. Yan Jin said. As long as they could catch the ancient war soul, their mission would be completed. No matter if the other party took this route, once they got the ancient war soul, it would be useless for them to play any tricks. They continued to move forward. The closer they got to the center of the battlefield, the more unstable the space was. They had no choice but to slow down. They walked cautiously for a few days. According to our previous calculations, we'll reach the center of the battlefield in half a day. When we reach there, we'll meet the ancient war soul. Bandit One said. Then let's hurry. The evil soul was excited at the thought of being able to find the ancient war soul. Yan Jin glanced at him. He didn't know why he would choose such a person as his commander. He had seen a few of the 10 great commanders before, and all of them were outstanding talents. How could this person be this kind of trash? It can't be fast. Bandit E said, the space here is very unstable. Once it collapses, we might not even be able to preserve this little realm. If this little realm is destroyed, then those war spirits will also disappear. Alright, the evil soul didn't say anything. In any case, if they weren't fast enough, the people behind them wouldn't be able to get ahead either. Half a day later, they arrived at the center of the ancient battlefield. As soon as they entered the area, they saw a few ancient fighting souls floating around. Gu Zhanhuan was similar to the people from the Soul Society. They were both souls that had died. However, because they had stayed in this small space for too long, their consciousness had been erased by time, and they could only float around in a daze. If they could control them now and turn them into slaves, they wouldn't resist them when they regained their consciousness. Yanjin, we agreed before that we would split the ancient fighting souls here equally. The general is still waiting for me to bring the ancient fighting souls back to report, so I will keep these two first. The evil soul said. Up to you. Yanjin was too lazy to argue with such people. It was just two ancient fighting souls. The evil soul gave an affirmative reply. He took out a spirit stone and wanted to keep the two ancient fighting souls. The spirit stone had a nourishing effect on the soul. When a normal soul encountered the spirit stone, it would subconsciously enter it. However, the two ancient fighting souls glanced at the spirit stone and didn't have any intention of entering it. They are actually unwilling to enter the spirit stone. The evil soul was surprised. The spirit stone was very attractive to these souls without consciousness, but these two actually resisted the temptation. No, it should be said that this temptation was not enough to enter their eyes. Yanjin and Bandit Yi were also surprised. They were indeed ancient fighting souls. Even after so many years, even if their consciousness had been erased and they were muddle-headed, they were still so powerful. Yanjin was finally interested in these ancient fighting souls and felt that they were worthy of being his subordinates. I don't believe that you will really resist. The evil soul said as he used his spiritual power to lift the spirit stone above them. Then he condensed his spiritual power and wanted to trap them inside. However, the two ancient fighting souls remained in their original positions. Although his dark skill made them feel uncomfortable, they said that they were unwilling to enter the spirit stone. In fact, they didn't know how long they had been floating here and didn't know why they were floating here. However, they were unwilling to enter the black stone. Their instincts told them that they couldn't enter that thing. Once they entered, something dangerous would happen. The evil soul increased his spiritual power. The two ancient fighting souls frowned and impatiently waved their palms at him. The evil soul was immediately flung away and almost fell into a spatial fault. It was Yan Qi who gave him a hand at the last moment that saved him. These ancient fighting souls are so strong. The evil soul touched his chest and was excited after the initial fear. Such strong ancient fighting souls. As long as he could obtain them, his strength would surpass the others. They are not easy to deal with. Bandit Yi said to Yanjin. Indeed, it is not suitable for a frontal attack. Yanjin said as he took out a jade flute and blew it gently. The ancient fighting soul's eyes were clear at the start. However, as the flute played, his eyes slowly became blurred and finally became very sad. His body emitted an aura of despair. He looked up at the spirit stone and flew into the spirit stone. Yanjin put down the jade flute and the evil soul regained his senses from his sound attack. He immediately flew over and kept the spirit stone. Thank you so much for this. He nodded at Yanjin. His words of gratitude didn't have much sincerity. Yanjin snorted at his actions. His slender fingers held the jade flute and said faintly, Commander, you have seen these ancient fighting souls. I am afraid that with your strength, you will not be able to subdue them. The evil soul immediately held the spirit stone tightly and looked at him cautiously. What are you trying to say? We agreed that these two are mine. I have no intention of snatching them from you. Yanjin said. Then what do you mean? I mean you need my help in the future. Can you help me? Yanjin caressed the jade flute and didn't look at him. What do you want me to help you with? The evil soul knew that he didn't want to snatch the ancient fighting souls and heaved a sigh of relief. Yanjin smiled and said, Actually, it's nothing big. I just heard that you have seen the Western God seal in Qinghun's hands. I want to ask you what it looks like. Chapter 1968. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book web quick update, no pop-up window, free to read. Xiahun took 2 steps back in shock and looked at Yanjin in horror. You want the Supreme Master's seal? Are you looking for death? Yanjin laughed. Why are you so nervous? I was just asking about the appearance of that thing. How is that considered taking it? Who dares to go against the Supreme Master now? That's true, although you're powerful, you don't dare to go against the Supreme Master. Xiahun replied, but you shouldn't ask about the 4 cardinal deity seal. If the Supreme Master misunderstands, not only you, but the entire main sect will be wiped out. Yen Jin's fingertips rubbed back and forth on the hole of the jade flute. Hearing his words, he wasn't disappointed. He looked ahead and said, "Let's continue forward." Xia Hun saw that he didn't ask any more, so he walked over and continued forward with them. It was best that no one asked about the Supreme Master Clear Soul. If they were careless, they would lose their heads. This Yen Jin actually dared to take the Supreme Master's things. He wouldn't even know how he died. However, what happened to him had nothing to do with him, as long as he could help him get the ancient battle souls this time. Bandit 1 looked at Yen Jin worriedly, but Yen Jin gave him a look, indicating that it was fine. Since he dared to mention it now, he wasn't afraid of Xia Hun. They continued to walk in the central area and met a few more ancient battle souls along the way. It was Yen Jin who helped Xia Hun subdue them every time. Xia Hun didn't seem to remember the previous agreement and took all the ancient battle souls for himself. Yen Jin and Bandit 1 just watched without saying anything. They felt that it was too ugly for a commander to do this. "There's a lot of people ahead," Bandit 1 said. "Then let's go over quickly." Xia Hun was in a good mood after obtaining so many ancient battle souls, so he quickly walked forward. Yen Jin and Bandit 1 followed behind. "Why are you giving in to him? I heard that he only became one of the top 10 commanders because of his connections. He doesn't have much strength, why do you have to give him face?" Bandit 1 couldn't stand it anymore. Being with such a person was lowering his status. "Don't worry, he won't be able to jump around for long," Yen Jin said nonchalantly. "Don't tell me you want to." "No, although I don't care about his life or death, I still need him to do something for me," Yen Jin said. "Bear with it. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have come here." Bandit E said, "I will try my best to ignore him, but the space here is very fragile, you have to be careful, do not clash with those ancient battle spirits. They're so strong. If we were to clash head-on, it's very likely that the space would collapse." I know what I'm doing," Yen Jin said. Bandit 1 knew that Yen Jin was a steady person, so he didn't say much. He just followed him and reminded him of the dangers. What a strong murderous aura. The evil soul, who was walking in the front, suddenly shuddered, but its tone was very excited. "It seems that we are close to the main battle area." The closer they were to the main battle zone, the more ancient war souls there were. Yen Kudo's eyes lit up. He didn't care if it was a small amount, but if it was a lot, he would still like it. Hoo! Gusts of chilly wind blew from the front, and the black mass of people was blown away by the wind. The scene was a little creepy. So many ancient fighting souls. What kind of war happened here in the past? So many people actually died. Bandit 1 was stunned. Let's not care about what war they were left behind. Taking these ancient fighting souls is the right thing to do. The evil soul said to Yen Jin, "There are so many of them, are you sure you can handle them?" Yen Jin didn't expect there to be so many of them. There were at least tens of thousands of them. If every one of them was so powerful, they would be comparable to an army. "I'll try." With so many people, he didn't dare to guarantee anything. He put the jade flute to his lips and started blowing. The flute sound made the ancient war souls' dazed eyes slowly focus. They looked over, as if they were looking at who was blowing the flute, or as if they were looking at their past memories. The flute sound turned soft and sorrowful, causing their hearts to ache. They felt as if they had experienced something that made their hearts ache, but they couldn't remember anything. So sad. They wanted to remember the past, but they didn't even know who they were talking about. Now they only wanted to follow the flute sound. No matter where they went, they didn't care who they were talking about. If they followed the sound, they wouldn't be sad anymore. The evil soul took out a pile of spirit stones. Bandit 1 also took out a pile. With a casual toss, the spirit stones flew into the air. The spirit stones formed a circle, trapping the ancient war souls in the middle. Yen Jin's flute sound continued to float over. Those ancient war souls had no intention of entering the spirit stones. After the song ended, he changed to another song. When Bandit 1 heard this song, he wanted to call out to him anxiously, but he held himself back. If he were to interrupt him now, those ancient war souls would wake up. Soon. The evil soul saw that most of the ancient war souls' eyes had become blurry. They were completely immersed in the flute sound. As long as he added more fuel to the fire, they would obediently enter the spirit stones. At this moment, a clear shout came from the opposite side. 100 Ghost Banner, keep. They raised their heads to look. They didn't know when a ghost banner appeared in the air. The strong suction force sucked in all the ancient war souls who had lost their resistance. In a moment, more than half of them were gone. Who? The evil soul exclaimed and subconsciously attacked the 100 Ghost Banner. However, before he could get close to the 100 Ghost banner, he was stopped by a black figure that suddenly appeared. "My young miss is collecting the souls. Unrelated people are not allowed to come near." The black figure slapped the evil soul away and said with his hands on his waist. Jin stopped playing and looked at the 100 Ghost banner behind the black figure. His pupils constricted. 100 Ghost banner? What? Bandit 1 looked at the 100 Ghost banner in disbelief. This was the long-lost 100 Ghost banner? "Don't bother about the 100 Ghost banner. Hurry up and stop it. Otherwise the ancient war souls will be snatched away by it," the evil soul shouted. Jin's face was cold as he said, "When the 100 Ghost banner is activated, only its owner can stop it. Find the person first, then ask for these." Bandit 1 closed his eyes and felt for a moment. Then he opened his eyes and attacked somewhere in the air. As the space here was too weak, he didn't use too much strength. However, he still let Sima Yue and the rest out of the space. "MOU?" When the evil soul saw MOU, his fighting spirit immediately decreased by 30%. Jin's attention wasn't on MOU. He looked at Sima Yue. He didn't forget that the voice just now was talking about a woman. In other words, the 100 Ghost banner belonged to this woman. "I didn't expect that the long-lost 100 Ghost banner would appear again. And it's actually with you, the little princess of the Ghost realm. It seems like you recognize me." Jin stared at her smiling eyes. "How can I not recognize the person who destroyed my main sect?" Chapter 1969. The main sect had suffered a great loss in the immortal witchcraft city. Although most of their people had been captured by Deja, as the head of the main sect, they still knew about it. Sima Yue, the youngest granddaughter of the Ghost King, the little princess that he had personally conferred, had wiped out the main sect's forces in the immortal witchcraft city. They had imagined how they would torture her if they ever met her, but they did not expect to meet her so soon. Sect leader Yanqi, you placed the main sect in the Ghost realm. Of course, you were prepared to be discovered, right? Sima Yue was not afraid of him. She smiled. "Even without me, someone else would have discovered this. It was only a matter of time before they were wiped out." "So, you're saying that I shouldn't blame you for destroying my forces? That I brought this upon myself?" Yanqi was amused. Sima Yue replied, "You're really good at understanding." The evil soul got up and ran back. When he saw that Yanqi had not made a move and was still talking to Sima Yue, he shouted anxiously, "Yanqi, look at the situation now. You're still in the mood to chat with her. If you don't stop her, the ancient war soul will be taken away by her alone." "Can you beat her?" Yanqi asked. "I can't, but you can. If you don't go now and the general blames you, let's see what you'll do. Commander Evil, if you can't beat her, you can do it yourself. If you can't beat her, don't point your finger here." Bandit 1 had been holding it in for a long time. When he felt that he could no longer hold it in, there was no need to hold it in anymore. "Commander? General?" Sima Yue heard them. "So, you're one of the 10 commanders under Che He?" "That's right. If you know what's good for you, stop the 100 Ghost banner and hand it over." The evil soul lifted his chin arrogantly like a peacock. Sima Yue asked MOU, "Didn't you say that the generals under Che He were all powerful and powerful? How can there be such a person? Wasn't Che He destroying his own Great Wall by making him a commander at such a level?" MOU was also puzzled. This doesn't seem like Che He's style. Could it be his connections? He had to admit that his guess was quite accurate. However, other than those with connections, those without ability would not be able to become commanders. "Really, there are people with connections everywhere," Sima Yue sighed. "However, even if there are people with connections, they are still people with connections. It's fine if you didn't see it, but since you did, you're out of luck today. What do you want?" The evil soul sensed the murderous intent in her eyes and moved closer to Jin. He didn't care about this little girl, but MOU was with her. If he made a move, he definitely wouldn't be able to take 2 moves. He could only rely on Yanqi now. "I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just thinking that if I can make the 10 commanders of me he become my little ghosts, it would feel pretty good." "How dare you?" the evil soul shrieked. "Don't think that you can take me in just because you have the 100 Ghosts banner. You can't take me in. If you didn't mention it, I would have forgotten about it. It seems like we don't have to kill you. You're a spirit to begin with. We can just absorb you directly." Sima Yue waved her hand and the 100 Ghosts banner returned to her hand. She shook the 100 Ghosts banner, and the evil soul were almost scared away. Even Jin and Bandit 1 looked at her warily, or rather, at the 100 Ghosts banner in her hand. The 100 Ghosts banner could be said to be the nemesis of the Soul Clan. In the past, when the 100 Ghosts banner was in the hands of the Ghost Clan's royal family, the Ghost Realm had always suppressed the Soul Realm. Later, the 100 Ghosts banner disappeared and the Soul Realm rose to prominence. Although with Sima Yoyue's strength, using the 100 Ghosts banner wouldn't suck them in, it would still restrain them and greatly reduce their fighting strength. If MOU used the 100 Ghosts banner, they might not be able to escape. Therefore, they should be glad that the 100 Ghosts banner belonged to Sima Yoyue. Yanjin, this 100 Ghosts banner will also hurt you and Bandit 1. Why aren't you going to snatch it? Even if it's not for me, you have to think for yourselves. The evil soul said to Yanjin. Yanjin clenched the jade flute in his hand. It looked like he was about to make a move. Huan's figure flashed and appeared in front of Sima Yoyue, looking at Yanjin. The meaning was obvious: your opponent is me. The two of them soon started fighting. Bandit 1 was worried about Yanjin and wanted to help, but was stopped by Wu Lingyu. Space lock. Bandit 1 wanted to lock Wu Lingyu, but found that the space he locked was empty. Wu Lingyu was no longer there. What a fast reaction. Bandit 1 knew the strength of his move, the lock would be very sudden. But Wu Lingyu was able to dodge it easily, which meant that he had already reacted when the space changed. It looked like he was the one who was on par with him, the one who led the way for them. Wu Lingyu appeared in the air, which gave Bandit 1 a big blow. His position was just outside the range of his lock. Wasn't he telling him that he knew his move like the back of his hand? It looked like this person was not only strong but also good at dealing blows to others. You are indeed a strong opponent. Bandit 1 put away his impatience and fought with Wu Lingyu. Sima Yoyue held the 100 Ghost streamer, and the ancient war souls were still being sucked in. She looked down at the evil soul and said, "Now you're the only one left. Don't think that you can do anything to me now. You can't suck me in." The evil soul encouraged himself. This 100 Ghost streamer belonged to Sima Yoyue, and with her strength, there was no way she could suck him in. So he didn't have to be afraid of this at all. I can't now, but what if you have lost the ability to resist? Sima Yoyue smiled evilly. Black Shadow, leave him with one last breath. Black Shadow received the order and flew towards the evil soul. Although the evil soul relied on connections to become a commander, he still had some strength. So when he saw Black Shadow coming over, he still condensed his spirit energy to meet him. Sima Yoyue didn't make a move, and stood in the middle of the ancient battlefield with MOU, watching the ancient war souls being sucked into the 100 Ghost streamer. It's all thanks to Yanjin's sound attack that made them lose their consciousness and resist. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been easy to get them to come in so obediently. Sima Yoyue sighed. Choosing to come out at this time, she really got lucky. Yanjin didn't expect you to get lucky. MOU said, he should have guessed that there would be people coming, but he didn't expect them to have the 100 Ghost streamer. Because without it, the ancient war souls that he controlled would become his fighting strength. Who would have thought that the 100 Ghosts banner would devour everyone? He sympathized with Yanjin in his heart. If he encountered such a situation, he would probably vomit blood. When Sima Yoyue was almost done with the ancient war souls and felt that the battle was about to end, the space suddenly trembled. Remember the mobile version of the website, M. Chapter 1970. What's going on? Black Shadow came back with the evil soul that was almost beaten to death. The trembling space made his heart palpitate. It should be the power of your battle that caused this space to collapse. Sima Yoyue looked worriedly at the four people fighting in the distance. It's going to collapse so easily? Black Shadow frowned. In this situation, the power of the space collapsing was very strong. If they weren't careful, the few of them might break their bones in anger. That's right, we have to get out quickly, Sima Yoyue said. She took the 100 Ghost banner and kept the evil soul inside. Then the three of them flew towards Wu Lingyu and the others. Be careful. The space was trembling and the cracks from before were getting bigger. When they were flying, Black Shadow wasn't paying attention and almost fell in. At the last moment he was pulled back by Sima Yoyue. These cracks are getting bigger, I'm afraid it won't last much longer. We have to get out quickly. MOU said. Sima Yoyue was a little anxious. Although Wu Lingyu and the others noticed that something was wrong with the space, they didn't have any intention of stopping. Now that the cracks were getting bigger, they probably wouldn't be able to last more than 2 moves. However, whoever stopped at this time would be giving the other party a chance to kill them. So they didn't attack at this time, but they couldn't leave either. No, if this goes on, everyone will be finished. Sima Yoyue said to Black Shadow and MOU, we can only try now. What? Before Black Shadow could finish asking, he and MOU were kept into the spirit pagoda by Sima Yoyue. Looking at the broken space, she took a deep breath. closed her eyes and disappeared from the spot. Then she appeared beside Wu Lingyu. She stared at Bandit 1 and didn't give him a chance to react. She held Wu Lingyu's hand and disappeared in front of him. Bandit 1's pupils constricted. He didn't expect Sima Yue to appear silently. Moreover, it was very dangerous to use this move in such a space. She actually dared to do it. He always thought that Wu Lingyu was the array master. He didn't expect that person to be her. Bandit 1. Yan Jin flew towards him. He looked up and saw that Sima Yue had already left with Huan. He didn't expect her to be so bold as to end their battle in such a way. However, there was no time to lament now. The space is about to collapse. We have to get out of here quickly. He flew towards Yan Qi. There's no time to return to the entrance now. Can't we just tear open space and leave? Yenya asked. Let me try. Bandit 1 tried to open up space, but it was useless. Instead, the space trembled even more. As for Sima Yue, although she did not have the ability to break through space, the two people beside her could. Wu Lingyu and Huan worked together to open the space. The two of them pulled Sima Yue and flew out. Fei Yi and Yenya were further away, and both of them were injured, so they could only watch them leave. Just as the two of them were in despair, a long rope flew in from the exit and wrapped around the two of them, pulling them in just a second before the exit closed. Boom! Before they could completely leave, the space collapsed. The five of them had already seen the exit. At the moment when the space collapsed, the five of them were thrown out together. All of them were seriously injured and fell to the ground, unable to move. But fortunately they were all alive. Yan Jin and Bandit 1 were lying on the ground. At this time they still had lingering fears. Feeling their beating hearts, they felt that the past few minutes were like a dream. They were actually saved. After resting for a while, Wu Lingyu got up from the ground and took out a pill for Sima Yue to eat. Then he fed one to Huan and ate one himself. As for the other two, he didn't want to waste this pill. Sima Yue felt pain all over her body. They were only at the exit when the space collapsed. If they were in the space or in the passage, everyone would have been crushed into meat paste. This is the first time I've seen space collapse. I feel like my body is about to be crushed. When she moved, her whole body hurt as if it was being torn apart. Don't move. Wait until your body is better. Wu Lingyu stopped her and returned to her side. He put her head on his lap to make her more comfortable. Why did you want to save the two of them? Wu Lingyu asked her. At the last moment, it was she who condensed her spiritual power into a rope and rolled the two of them into the space passage. If it weren't for her, Yan Jin and Bandit 1 would have died inside this time. When Yan Jin and Bandit 1 entered the space passage, they saw Sima Yue dispersing the rope formed by her spiritual power and knew that she was the one who saved them in the end. They were also very curious as to why she saved them. I wanted to save them, so I saved them. Sima Yue replied. I don't believe you. Wu Lingyu flicked her forehead. Did you want to discuss arrays with that array master? You already know, yet you still ask me. Sima Yue didn't deny it. Actually, when he was fighting with you, the array he used looked familiar. However, I couldn't recall it, so I subconsciously saved them. I don't know if I will save these two ungrateful wretches. Wu Lingyu snorted. I won't. Sima Yue struggled to sit up. Wu Lingyu could only help her up and let her lean into his embrace. After Sima Yue sat up, she looked at the two people lying on the ground and said, You two are more seriously injured than us. If you promise not to repay kindness with ingratitude, I will save you. Bandit 1 and Yan Jin didn't say anything. Hey, the matter of the ancient war soul is already over. You can't snatch it back now. Other than the matter of Immortal Witch's City, we don't have any grudges. You two aren't Qing Han and Qi He's people, so we aren't considered enemies. Sima Yue said. Moreover, you two were at fault for what happened in Immortal Witch's City. Yan Jin endured the intense pain and sat up so that he was at the same level as Sima Yue. Although she was seriously injured, her eyes were clear and bright. It was easy to look into them. You're right. We don't have any political opposition. The wound was too painful. His mouth twitched. Just like what Sima Yue said, he wasn't Qing Han and Qi He's people. There was no unresolvable grudge between him and Sima Yue. The only grudge they had was the matter of Immortal Witch's City. However, that loss was nothing compared to his and Bandit 1's lives. Sima Yue saved them and gave them a way out. He admired someone who had such courage at such a young age. Bandit 1 didn't have any grudges with Sima Yue. They just had different standpoints. In reality, since Yan Jin said so, he didn't have any objections. Moreover, he admired her ability to comprehend space. It was best if such a person didn't become enemies. Seeing the two of them like this, Sima Yue took out a bottle of pills and threw it over. Yan Jin gave one to Bandit 1 and ate one himself. Chapter 1971. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book web no pop-up window free to read. Yan Jin knew that Sima Yue saved them because she wasn't worried about what they would do after they recovered. That was because they weren't afraid of them at all. Even if they wanted to do something, Wu Lingyu and Huan could deal with them. Not to mention that she still had so many ancient souls in the 100 Ghost Gonfalon. Just a few ancient souls with high combat power were enough to give them a headache. We're out. I wonder how cousin Wan and the rest are doing. Sima Yue was worried about Wan. She didn't know if she had left the small realm before the space collapsed. They should be fine. Wu Lingyu hugged her. According to their schedule, they should have returned to the exit a few days ago. If the space is unstable, they will know to come out. The exit was the thinnest part of the small realm. As long as they came out, they would be fine. I hope so. If not, I don't know how to answer to Mother when she comes out. Sima Yue sighed. You really kept the evil soul in the 100 Ghost Gonfalon? Yan Jin asked. Yes, I keep my word. Sima Yue said, I'll let Che-He create trouble for cousin. Cousin? Deja? Yan Jin raised his eyebrows. The reason she wanted to keep the evil soul was because of this? Cousin has been very busy ever since I came to the imperial capital. Che-He and Qing Hun are restless and have been creating trouble at the border. Humph, not to mention the evil soul today. Even if it's Su Yu and the rest, I'll catch them if I see them. Sima Yue snorted. I didn't expect the killing god Deja to have such a protective sister like you. Yan Jin sighed. No wonder he dotes on you so much. When they received this news in the past, they were very surprised that Deja, who had even killed Huang Zi, would dote on Sima Yue so much. Previously, she had thought that it was because she was Yu Kuluo's daughter. Now that she thought about it, that might have been the case when they first met. But now that she thought about it, his love for her had only increased. Even though I don't have much of a problem with the soul race and the ghost race, but the soul race is always restless and looking for trouble. I can't tolerate it. Sima Yue said. In her current state, she could only be considered a soul. However, due to her identity, those who knew that she was a soul didn't think of her as a soul race. Hearing her reason, Yan Jin and Bandit had a better impression of her. I don't know where we fell. Bandit 1, can you tell? Yenya asked. No. Bandit 1 shook his head. Yan Qi wanted him to deduce which part of the ghost realm they were in based on the distance between the little realm and the outside world. However, he didn't know how big the difference was between the space inside the little realm and the outside world, so he couldn't deduce it. Bandit 1, they said that you're the most powerful array master in the soul world. How about we have a spar after you've recovered? Sima Yue asked. Sure. Bandit 1 agreed. To be precise, he had the same intention. Then it's a deal. Sima Yue leaned into Wu Lingyu's embrace. She felt very tired and wanted to sleep. Suddenly, she heard the sound of the earth shaking. It can't be? Could it be that we just came out from the space collapse and we're going to encounter another earthquake? Sima Yue exclaimed. They were all heavily injured now. If they encountered another earthquake, how could they avoid it? Boom, boom. The sound was getting closer and closer, and the ground was shaking more violently. It's not an earthquake. Wu Lingyu said, however, I'm afraid it's more troublesome than an earthquake. Everyone followed his gaze and saw a few hell apes that were as tall as hills. There were 1 or 2 people sitting on each hell ape's shoulder. There were a total of 3 women and 5 men. Sima Yue didn't feel anything when she saw those hell apes and people, but Yan Jin and Bandit 1's expressions weren't very good. We actually came here. Logically speaking, it shouldn't be like this. Could it be that when the space collapsed, it caused the surrounding space to change? Bandit 1 muttered. Looks like it's hard to escape today. Yan Jin was discouraged and fell back onto the ground. What's wrong? Do you guys know where this is? Sima Yue asked. Of course we know. Look at those hell apes. Their necks are all covered in white fur. These are the white-necked apes that only exist in the no man's land. Yan Jin said. No man's land? Where is this? Sima Yue asked. In the ghost realm, there's a place that the ghost realm, soul realm and Avicii hell can't control. This is the intersection of the 3 realms. However, the real reason is the people who live here. Are they all very strong? The people here are indeed very strong. However, how can they be stronger than the 3 realms? It's because of their identities. Sima Yue still didn't understand. So what if it was their identities? This is where the real rulers of the ghost realm, the 9 Nether clan, live. Surrounding the 9 Nether clan are some noble clans. However, this is all in the past. What makes the 3 realms fearful is the relationship between these people and the 3 realms. If anyone from any of the 3 realms dares to touch this place, they will be suppressed by the other 2 realms. To put it bluntly, in the past it was because the clans were strong. Now it's because of the conflict between the 3 realms. Sima Yue said. There would usually be a blank space in the middle of a triangle. Because this place is special, normal people can't come in. Those who come in secretly can't leave this place after being caught. Even if your grandfather and Qing Hun want to come, they have to reveal their identities before coming. Now that we're here, we've been discovered. Yan Jin's words were helpless. They were all heavily injured and had no way of protesting against these people. Even if they managed to escape, they wouldn't be able to survive for more than 3 miles in this area. Those white-necked apes were walking towards them. This meant that the other party had discovered them. If it's really like what you said, then we can only deal with whatever comes our way. Sima Yue wasn't as desperate as them. She sensed that the spirit pagoda was still fine. Black Shadow Mou and her beasts were inside. I heard that these white-necked apes are arrogant and aren't willing to submit to people. There are so many white-necked apes here. I wonder which clan they are from. Bandit said. If the people who came were easy to talk to, then it would be better. If they met someone who was strong and unreasonable, then they would be in trouble. We'll know when they arrive. Sima Yue said, I say if we fight later and I save you, then I'll have saved both of your lives. Bandit and Yan Jin didn't say anything. Seeing the smile in her eyes, their instincts told them that it wouldn't be easy to repay her for saving their lives. Soon the white-necked apes came over with people. These people don't have the aura of this place. They are indeed intruders. According to the rules, we should kill them immediately. Chapter 1972. They didn't ask for the reason but didn't ask for their identity. Yan Jin and the others' hearts sank. It seemed like they wouldn't be able to escape today. He and Bandit 1 looked at each other. If it really came to that, they would use that move to escape first. They just needed to hide for 2 or 3 days until their injuries got better. Then they could escape. Sima Yue looked at them and planned to call them out when they made their move. Her thoughts were similar to Yan Jin and the others. They had to deal with the situation in front of them first and think about the rest later. Wait a minute. The man sitting in the middle raised his hand and stopped the other 2. He said, they are all heavily injured. Don't rush to kill them. Sima Yue and the others sighed in relief. As long as not everyone said they wanted to kill them, they still had a chance. Brother and I, regardless of whether these people are injured or not, it's strange that they suddenly appeared here. We shouldn't let them go. I didn't say let them go. Zhou and I said. But these people are all injured. Who hurt them? Where are the people who hurt them now? If they are hiding, we can at least get some information from them. Brother and I is right. We can't kill them so carelessly. We have to at least ask about the situation first. Someone agreed. Sima Yue and Yan Jin looked at each other. They had the same idea. No one could speak. These people seem to be heavily injured. They are about to lose consciousness and can't speak. Should we bring them back? Yes. Bring them back and lock them up. Zhou and I ordered. Lock them up in the dungeon. Don't let them escape. The white-necked apes walked forward and grabbed one person in each hand. Their palms were almost as wide as a person's body. It was as if they were rolling them up. Luckily, Zhou and I reminded them to be careful not to kill them. They didn't hold them so tightly. Let's go back to the tribe. Zhou and I ordered. The white-necked apes turned around and went back. Sima Yu and Wu Lingyu were hugging each other before, so when the white-necked ape caught them, it also caught them in one hand. Wu Lingyu protected her the moment they were grabbed. This way she wouldn't be hurt by the white-necked apes. Are we going to their clan just like that? He transmitted his voice to her. It's not good to fight now. Why don't we go back and rest for a few days? At the same time, I want to understand the situation here. Otherwise, I will be like a headless fly if I continue to run like this. Sima Yue replied. Even if he went to the clan once his body recovered, he might be able to escape. In any case, the situation couldn't get any worse. But you'll have to go to jail. Wu Lingyu's heart ached that she had to go to such a place even though she was injured. It's okay. As long as you're here, it's all the same. Her words warmed Wu Lingyu's heart, and she couldn't help but hug her even tighter. The white-necked ape that was holding them felt some movement in its hand. When it looked down, there was nothing. Yan Jin and Bandit E were held in the hands of another white-necked ape. When they opened their eyes, they could see each other. Resigned to fate? Don't move for now. The two of them exchanged glances and then decided to do so. However, this was the first time in their lives that they would go to jail. They felt that they had been walking for a long time. They were swaying and dizzy. Coupled with their serious injuries, several of them couldn't help but faint. Only Wu Lingyu and Huan were slightly better and were conscious all the way. "Young master, young miss, didn't you say that you were going to visit? Why are you back so soon?" someone asked. "Not far away we saw a few intruders. We caught them and brought them back." "There were intruders? Why didn't you just kill them? Why did you catch them?" "These people all suffered the same injuries. We caught them and interrogated them to see if anyone else came here. Zhou and I explained, a few of you come here and put them in jail." "Yes." The sound of the conversation woke Sima Yue up, but she didn't open her eyes. She felt someone coming over and took them from the white-necked ape. Then each of them carried one person to the jail. After locking them in 2 rooms, they all left. Bang! The door closed and the 5 of them opened their eyes at the same time. After feeling that there was no one around, they all sat up. This jail is really big. Sima Yue saw that there were only 4 rooms. It was so clean that it looked like a civilian house. No matter how she looked at it, it couldn't be connected to a jail. "Look at how disappointed you are. Isn't it good to have such an environment?" Yanjin teased her. "I am a little disappointed. I thought I could really experience life in jail." Sima Yue was seriously disappointed. In a place like this, the intruders are all killed directly. How can there be anything about locking them up? This is probably used to occasionally lock up people in the clan who have made mistakes. Bandit 1 said. Perhaps it was because he admired Sima Yue that Bandit 1 spoke more than usual. However, Sima Yue didn't know that. Only Yanjin looked at him a little more. "It's just nice for them to recuperate." Yanjin said, "But why is your pill so effective on the injuries of the Soul Clan?" Although they were all healing pills, the Ghost Clan and the Soul Clan were different. It was obvious that the pill she gave them was targeted at the Soul Clan. But why did she have the Soul Clan's pill? "I'm giving it to you. Why are you asking so much?" Sima Yue rolled her eyes at him. Then she leaned into Wu Lingyu's arms to rest. Luckily, Wu Lingyu pulled her closer to the exit. He received less impact and was the least injured. Now he could be her back. Yanjin and Bandit 1 were curious. This Ghost Clan's little princess had the Soul Clan's pill on her. It was strange no matter how they thought about it. Suddenly they remembered that she used to be a human. However, they couldn't feel her human aura at all. Could it be that you're a soul body? Yanjin and Bandit 1 were shocked by this guess. The Ghost Clan's little princess was a soul body. It was equivalent to saying that she was from the Soul Clan. How scary would that be? "It's nothing. Grandfather doesn't care." Sima Yue didn't deny it. "If I say I'm from the Soul Clan, would Qing Hun dare to admit it?" "That's true. You're injured so badly. Don't talk anymore and recuperate." Wu Lingyu hugged her. The 2 of them healed their injuries. Huan automatically ignored the 2 of them. He sat cross-legged and closed his eyes to heal his injuries. Yanjin and Bandit 1 stopped talking and healed their injuries. These people wouldn't come to heal their injuries. However, they probably wouldn't disturb them for the next 2 days. In the eyes of those people, their injuries were too serious. They wouldn't wake up every 2 or 3 days. It was useless to come to them. Because they guessed that there were still people here, their focus for the next 2 days should be on searching for those people. And these 2 days were their chance. Remember the mobile version of the website, M. Chapter 1973. Just as they had guessed, no one came to disturb them for the past 2 days. With the help of high-grade pills, they recovered at lightning speed. Their external injuries had healed by 30 to 40%. If only there was something that could make them ignore us. Give us a few more days and we'll be able to recover by 70 to 80%. Yanjin said. They had only recovered by 30 to 40%. If they were to fight with those people, they had no chance of winning. Sima Yu thought so as well. She wondered if she should find something for them to do so that they would ignore her. At this moment, the scarlet bees that they had placed outside brought good news. They actually found someone who had entered. This was really, feeling the joy from her body, Yanjin asked her, "What's the good news?" "They were prepared to interrogate us just now," Sima Yu said. "How is that good news? Why are you so happy?" Yanjin snorted. Then the people who came went back halfway. Sima Yu continued. "Really? Why?" "That's because they've really encountered an outsider," Sima Yu said, "and those people were obviously unwilling to be killed, so they were resisting. Most of the people from this clan went after them." Wu Lingyu and the others looked at her in disbelief. Was there such a coincidence? Those people were discovered at this time. These people would naturally think that those people were the ones who hurt them. If those people were more powerful and didn't get caught, those people wouldn't think of them for the time being. Instead, they would go after those people. This way they would have more time. I wonder who's so unlucky. While Yanjin was rejoicing, he was also gloating. Those people were able to sneak in, which meant that they had some ability. They were careful all the way and did not expect to be discovered. They must be depressed. How could these people investigate so closely? They did not know that it was all because of them. Sima Yue also felt that those people were unlucky, but she did not gloat as much as Yanjin. I hope those people can hold on for a while longer. If they were caught today, then we would have been happy for nothing. She reminded. Indeed. However, since they were able to persist until here, it meant that they had some ability. People with strength are not so easy to catch. I hope so. Take care of your injuries. After Sima Yue said that, she did not continue. She got up and walked 2 rounds. Aren't you going to heal yourself? I need to do something else. She took out the 100 Ghosts banner and began to refine the ancient war souls inside. Although these ancient fighting souls had been absorbed, they were not completely under her control. Now that she had recovered a lot of her spiritual power, if she could control it well, they wouldn't have to worry about not being able to get out this time. Have you thought it through? Yanjin looked at her seriously. Once the 100 Ghost banner appears, you will have a lot of trouble in the future. The 100 Ghost streamer was a treasure that the entire Ghost realm scrambled for. Once they knew that she had it, many people would want to snatch it away. Those who don't want to die can come and try. Anyway, my 100 Ghosts banner can still hold a lot of people. Sima Yue said indifferently. Truly, domineering. When Yenya thought of so many ancient war spirits, he felt his heart ache. Those guys were supposed to be his, but she snatched them all away. Who asked him to have never expected the appearance of the 100 Ghost banner to appear. Sima Yue knew that he was upset, so she said gratefully, speaking of which, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have been able to obtain these ancient war spirits so smoothly. Thank you so much. Yanjin snorted and didn't reply to her. Speaking of which, your main sect is really powerful. You can actually control the minds of souls in such a large area. Sima Yue had some understanding of sound attacks in the past, but it wasn't as effective as his. How do you think I became the second in charge of the main sect? Yenya snorted. Not everyone was like the evil soul who relied on connections to get to the top. I see that the tune you play is different from Chun Ying's. Do you have a specific tune? Or is it fine as long as it's music? Sima Yue asked. Why are you asking so many questions? Do you want to learn? Yanjin raised his eyebrows. It's not bad if I can learn. There's no harm in having more skills. Sima Yue admitted her thoughts. You want to be my disciple? I dare to do that. Do you dare to accept me? Sima Yue snorted. Yanjin's face darkened. Firstly, it was because of her attitude. Secondly, it was because he dared to accept her, but he couldn't. Although she had saved his life, she was still the little princess of the Ghost clan. If anyone knew about this, it would give Qin Hun something to use against him. Actually, it's not a big deal for you to give me some pointers. Sima Yue looked at him. If anyone criticizes you, you can just say that you're indebted to me for saving your life and gave me some pointers. Who can blame you then? You've already thought of an excuse for me. Are you so sure that I'll teach you? Yanjin said, it seems like you had this in mind when you saved me from the start. If I said that I didn't, would you believe me? No. Then there's no need to be bothered about this. It doesn't matter if there's an outcome or not. Sima Yue said. You'd better go and study your 100 Ghost banner. Yanjin closed his eyes after he finished speaking. He intended to continue talking to her about this. Sima Yue wasn't angry. This kind of thing needed to be dealt with, especially for someone like Yanjin. He didn't like to owe others, but he wouldn't agree to teach her so easily. So she let him be bothered by it. She had to seize the time to refine those ancient war souls. She hoped that those people could hold on for a while longer so that she could refine some of them. Not far from where they were, a group of people were hiding in the mountains. Many of them were injured, and the group was in a sorry state. The leader, Suyu, had a face darker than the bottom of a pot. He was emitting a cold aura, and no one dared to go near him. Commander, this is too strange. The guard beside him said, no one noticed us on our way here. How did we get discovered the moment we arrived here? Also, we found out that these people seem to be searching this area. It's as if they knew that we were coming here. This is indeed strange. Another person agreed, Commander, could it be that someone leaked the news? You're saying that there's a mole among our people? Suyu looked at that person and narrowed his eyes. The person who said this was shocked by his gaze. He subconsciously took 2 steps back and said, I'm just guessing. Can't be my people. Suyu said, instead of guessing, why don't you suggest a way to get out of this encirclement? You're our guide. You should be very clear about the area you live in. Chapter 1974. Suyu was very depressed. His plan in the ghost realm was forced to be put on hold. In order to atone for his mistake, he thought of coming here to look for the clear snow lotus that he had always wanted. Because there was someone leading the way, they were fine all the way and were not discovered by anyone. They did not expect to be attacked one after another here. And those people came rather quickly, as if they were preparing nearby. Commander, there are more people coming. The guard on sentry duty said. Suyu stared at the guide they found, his gaze cold. I'll give you 1 day to get rid of these people. Otherwise you don't need to live anymore. Yes. That person was chilled by his gaze and quickly replied, let's go this way. It seemed that for his own life he had to show his true ability. However, they spent 7 to 8 days and still could not get out of this place. The people of this family seemed to have received someone's guidance. No matter where they hid, they could find them. It was as if there was really a traitor. However, they also checked and no one was suspicious. After a while, everyone was eliminated. Since it was not their problem, then what was going on? Unable to understand this point, everyone felt stifled in their hearts. They blamed this crime on the guide, feeling that he did not lead the way well. When Suyu was furious, he really wanted to kill him. In the end, he was persuaded by the guard beside him. They were fine before, and it was indeed thanks to him. They were unfamiliar with this place. If they killed him, it would be difficult for them to continue on their journey. The anger in Suyu's heart could not be vented on this, so he could only vent it casually. Who knew that he was so strong that he directly cut off half of the mountain, attracting people nearby. They had no choice but to continue escaping. Sima Yue was in the prison. When she received the news, she was convulsing with laughter. She did not expect that the unlucky person would be Suyu and his subordinates. She let the scarlet bees follow them all the way. After finding their tracks, she created some traces so that they could not escape. However, these people were really powerful. After dragging on for so many days, their injuries were almost healed. The ancient war soul in her 100 ghost banner was almost refined. Yan Jin sympathized with Ruin Valley in his heart. This fellow was a man with strength, cunning. In front of me he had a lot of face. Unfortunately, he met Sima Yue. Last time, Deja had used his people and things as a cover for the incident in the Immortal Witchcraft City. Naturally, he had found out the reason and knew about the Ruin Valley's plan. Sima Yue was the cause of the Immortal Witchcraft City in this incident. It could be said that she was his nemesis. Bandit 1 had a good relationship with Yan Qi. Naturally, he had heard about how Sima Yue had ruined Ruin Valley's plan. On the surface, it looked like Deja had dealt with this matter, but Suyuha and the others knew that the culprit was still her. Thinking back to those who had gone against her in the beginning, it seemed that they were also very pitiful. This woman was not old, but she was shocking. He had strength, background, and brains. He had so many underworld beasts and knew so many things, which meant that he had a very good encounter. To make an enemy of such a person, only a fool would do such a thing. No wonder she died so young in the human realm. Her luck was too good. This was also his speculation based on what he had seen. If he knew about her past, he would not sigh at her early death. Instead, he would say that it was good that she died. Since I've almost recovered, we can leave at any time. Sima Yue said, let's find something to do before they come. Everyone looked at her, not knowing what she wanted to do. Sima Yue smiled at Yan Qi and said, have you thought about that matter? Who demands repayment like you? Yan Qi scolded her. He was just short of saying that she was really thick-skinned. Gratitude in this lifetime must be repaid in this lifetime. When we separate, it will be difficult to see each other in the future, let alone have a chance to repay the debt. Look, you're a cultivator. What if you can't repay the debt and leave behind an inner demon that affects your cultivation? I'm doing this for your own good. Sima Yue did not feel embarrassed. Yan Qi's mouth twitched. So, I should thank you for thinking for me? You don't have to thank me. Just tell me about your sound attack. Yan Qi, Bandit E saw Yan Qi's frown and looked at him with pity. She was right. Yan Qi did not want to owe anyone a debt of gratitude. Otherwise, he would not have told her about Gu Zhanhuan just because he owed the evil soul master a debt of gratitude. Although she was the one who asked, if he was not willing to tell, they would not know. She even brought him to the little realm. Now that he owed her such a huge debt of gratitude, he had already made a decision in his heart. But because of her identity he could not make this decision so quickly. Actually, it's not impossible to give you a few pointers. Yan Qi said, but the essence of my sect is not something that can be explained in a few pointers. You can also join my sect. Even if I give you pointers, you won't be able to learn anything. It's okay. I'll give you as much as you can. Sima Yue was not greedy. She just felt that their sound attack was more powerful than the one she had seen before. She was just curious. If she could learn it, she would learn it. If she could not, she would not force it. Do you know any musical instruments? Yes, flute, guzheng and flute. Yan Qi set up a soundproof barrier and said, play one for me. Sima Yue took out a jade flute and played a song. Yan Qi nodded after hearing it and said, you're skilled in finger techniques. It seems like I don't need to teach you the basics. Then I'll just teach you the basics of sound attacks. What you can learn will depend on you. All right. Yan Qi was very serious. Although he only wanted to give her a few pointers, he could not be perfunctory. Sima Yue listened very seriously. She thought that Yan Qi would be perfunctory. She did not expect him to be so serious. Hence she learned it well. She followed his instructions for a day and actually managed to learn it. Yan Qi watched her play a complete song. Although she was not very skilled, to be able to achieve this in just a day was already a heaven-defying talent. No wonder she knew everything. With her talent, he could not help but admire her. In order to not feel like he owed her, he taught her all the tricks of sound attacks in the next few days. Sima Yue accepted it all. Although she did not understand the more profound ones, she would have time to learn them in the future. At this moment, she did not know that Yan Qi's sound attack was the most powerful in the Main sect. At the same time, it was also unique. Using his method to learn the basics had left his mark. Someone is coming. Wu Lingyu reminded. Yan Qi removed the barrier. After waiting for more than 10 days, these people finally remembered them. Chapter 1975. It had to be said that these people were really magnanimous. They locked them up for more than 10 days and didn't think of them. They only went to deal with those intruders. Didn't they think that there might be two different groups of people? However, they later found out that it wasn't that these people didn't think of them, but that the people who caught them were all sent out. They left in a hurry and didn't think of telling their clansmen about them. That was why they were forgotten until now. Clang, the lock was opened and Zhou and I brought people in. Seeing the people who had fully recovered after being locked up for more than 10 days, he said, bring them out. The Zhou clansmen came over and opened the door. Sima Yue and the others got up and dusted off their clothes, saying, we'll leave on our own. Zhou and I didn't make things difficult for them and turned to leave. Sima Yue and the others also left under the encirclement of a group of people. Perhaps they were too confident in their own strength and felt that the 5 of them couldn't escape from the clan. That was why they didn't even tie them up and just brought them out. At this time they could finally take a good look at the environment of the Zhou clan. It was surrounded by mountains and water, white mist lingered around it. It felt like a fairyland in the human world. These people always feel that they're out of this world. They feel that they're different from the mortal world. They want this kind of fairy-like place. Yinya said Sima Yue's thoughts. Don't talk. The people at the side scolded. Yinya curled his lips and didn't speak anymore. If they didn't want to talk, then so be it. Who cares about comments? Zhou and I brought them to the living area. There were many people here. Those people looked at them angrily. Other than the previous xenophobia, there seemed to be more anger now. Sima Yue naturally knew what they were angry about. Ruin Valley was the commander under Che He. They managed to escape from 3 layers of encirclement. After leaving their territory, those people were no longer under their control. However, they would be laughed at by the people behind them. They couldn't even catch a group of outsiders. How useless. This was even more infuriating than the appearance of outsiders. And these people should be related to those people. If they asked them, they would know the identity of those people. Zhou and I brought them to a spacious and simple house. There were dozens of people sitting in the house. The moment they entered, those people's sharp gazes landed on them. Patriarch, I've brought them here. Zhou and I bowed. It's been hard on you. You still have injuries on your body and you just came back. Go and rest first. The white-bearded old man said. Patriarch, we were the ones who captured these people. It's my fault for not interrogating them in time. I want to stay and see if they can give us any useful information. Zhou and I said. All right, then you can stay. Zhou and I sat at the end of the row. The people who were escorting them shouted, Kneel. Yue and the rest didn't care. These people didn't have the right to make them kneel. Huan glanced at him lightly, and the man who spoke felt his scalp go numb. The faces of the Zhou family members were not very good. From where Huan stood, it could be seen that he was just a guard. Even a guard had such an imposing aura. These people's identities were probably not simple. However, so what if it was not simple? This was a lawless area. Who would dare to behave atrociously here? Who are you? Why did you sneak into my Zhou clan's territory? What was his motive? Who were the people who hurt you? Patriarch Zhou asked. Old Master Zhou, if you are willing to talk to us properly, we will tell you what you want to know. If you want to kill us for asking questions, then I advise you to save your worries. The people you have outside are not enough. Sima Yue said. Are you threatening us? Zhou clan's great elder Zhou Lai said. How is this a threat? We have no enmity with each other. There is no need to make things worse. Sima Yue shook her head. To be honest, we just came here by accident. We don't have any intention of harming you. Although you came here and shouted to kill us, objectively, you just provided us with a safe and stable environment to heal our injuries. We are actually very friendly. They obviously wanted to capture them for interrogation, but they forgot about them and let them stay in prison for more than 10 days to heal their injuries. This was not a glorious thing for them. A group of rascals dared to talk terms with my Zhou clan. How dare you? Do you think that after entering this door you can still walk out? Do you think you can walk without guts? Sima Yue did not care about their threat at all. She looked at Zhou and said, Patriarch Zhou, what do you say? Since ancient times, people who trespassed into the triangle area have never returned. What right do you have to talk terms with us? Zhou asked. Sima Yue shook her finger. We are not talking terms with you. We just want to choose a path that is beneficial to everyone. You think that we can't fight against your clan, but can you guarantee that we won't drag your entire clan down with us? You? We can just send a few people to kill you. Someone sneered, disapproving of her words. I'll only say one thing. The injuries on our bodies were not caused by anyone. It was caused by the collapse of space. Sima Yue said, in this case, Patriarch Zhou, do you think we have the qualifications to say this? The Zhou family members took a deep breath. They had heard from Zhou and I that the 5 of them were severely injured. They did not expect that they were caused by the collapse of the dimension. If that was the case, they had to re-evaluate their abilities. How many people could survive such a situation? They thought that they were just ordinary intruders. They did not expect them to be experts. Zhou looked at Sima Yue from head to toe. He suddenly felt that she looked familiar, but he could not remember where he had seen her before. Were you really thrown into the triangle area during the collapse of the dimension? That's right. Otherwise, how could you be so severely injured without any signs of fighting? Sima Yue said. Zhou looked at Zhou and I. Yes, there were only 5 of them lying on the ground. There were no signs of fighting. Zhou and I replied. If they were so severely injured, it was impossible for them to appear out of nowhere. At least there would be signs of fighting. Who knows if this is just a ruse you're trying to injure yourself in order to infiltrate my clan? Someone guessed. The Zhou family members originally wanted to believe her words. After hearing her point of view, they felt that it made sense. What if it was just a ruse to gain sympathy? Sima Yue rolled her eyes at that person. Are you stupid? The outsiders were so severely injured. If it was you, are you sure you wouldn't be killed? You must be crazy to think that way. Chapter 1976. The Zhou family members wanted to be angry but didn't dare to. If they followed her words, wouldn't they be admitting that they were stupid? And what she said made sense. Even if they wanted to use the trick of injuring themselves, they wouldn't have hurt themselves to that extent. They all lost consciousness. If they wanted to kill them, they wouldn't have been able to fight back. So, it was too much to say that it was a trick of injuring oneself. In that case, you were indeed thrown here. The great elder said. That's right. So you can forget about your conspiracy theories for now. Sima Yue said. So what? Kill all the intruders. Someone didn't agree with reconciliation. This person was obviously the war type. Second elder of the Zhou family. As the second elder, you don't think about the stability of the family. All you think about is fighting and killing. Aren't you afraid that you'll drag the family down one day? Sima Yue asked. How do you know that I'm the second elder? The second elder was sure that he had never seen her before, but she could accurately recognize him. So they had indeed come prepared. Not only do I know that you're the second elder, I also know that you were injured by Ruin Valley. Oh, that's the leader of the Soul clan. Sima Yue said. How do you know that we in the Soul Clan? The second elder looked at her in shock. Who are you? How do you know all this? The Zhou family members didn't believe that she came here without a purpose. Otherwise, how would she know all this? Now they were all looking at her strangely. Why are you so nervous? Sima Yue felt tired from standing. Just as she was about to move her feet, Wu Lingyu took a chair and placed it behind her. She smiled at him and sat on the chair. She looked at them calmly without explaining anything. Both sides were in a stalemate. Yan Jin also felt tired from waiting. He took out a chair and sat down. But this chair was much more flashy. It was a luxurious chair with various gems embedded in the back. It was comparable to a throne. Sima Yue looked at his chair and pursed her lips. She didn't expect him to be such a flashy person. The Zhou family members looked at Yan Jin and were secretly shocked. Where did this person come from? He didn't seem to be subordinate to Sima Yue. Buzz buzz buzz. A weak sound came from outside. Then the people outside shouted, why are there so many bees? The densely packed scarlet bees were flying around outside, but they didn't attack anyone. They just stopped all over the place. Only a small portion flew into the discussion hall and landed on Sima Yu's shoulder. Don't attack. Jojo looked at Sima Yu. She was playing with the scarlet bee in her hand. She was very calm and confident. She didn't feel anxious about being in prison. After talking for so long, I still don't know your name. His tone was much gentler. Sima Yu. Sima Yu? From her surname, she didn't seem to be from a big family or power. Why was her aura so strong that they couldn't even look at her directly? Don't think that she's a nobody. She's the Ghost King's favorite little princess. Yan Jin leaned on the chair lazily. Since when did the Ghost King have a little princess with a different surname? The Ghost King had many princesses, but they all had the surname Yu. None of them had a different surname. That's true. She's only been in the ghost world for more than 10 years. Although she's quite famous outside, I don't think it's spread to here. Yan Jin said slowly, although you don't know her, you definitely know her mother. She's the Ghost King's youngest daughter, Yu Kuluo. What? She's Yu Kuluo's daughter? The Zhou family members were shocked. The head of the Zhou family finally remembered why she looked so familiar. She looked very similar to her mother. He had seen Yu Kuluo from afar before, but their ages didn't match. Hence he didn't connect the two together. Speaking of which, the Dark Princess has helped us before. I didn't expect that we would treat the daughter of our benefactor poorly today. I'm really sorry. Zhou stood up and bowed to Sima Yue. Since when did the Dark Princess help us? The others didn't know and thought that he was making it up. That year the old ancestor was about to die. In order to refine the level-breaking pill for him, we went to Yao Lao to ask for a guiding herb. Do you still remember? Zhou asked. Of course we remember. If Yao Lao didn't give us the guiding herb, the old ancestor wouldn't be able to break through and live until now. The second elder said. Then you should also remember that we went to visit him many times, but were rejected at the door. Zhou said, Yao Lao didn't care about the things we took. There were a few times when the medicine boy came to send us away until the last time. Zhou recalled. The great elder thought of something and called out, could it be that girl from that day? That's right. Zhou nodded. That day when we went, we were stopped outside as usual. At that time, a girl looked out of the attic's window and heard a girl's voice. She said that since she had come so many times, it meant that she was very anxious about the herbs. Since you have so much, why don't you give it to me? Not long later, a medicine boy came out with the herbs we needed. When we left, I heard two medicine boys talking about the Dark Princess. As expected, you kept saying that there was a girl. I didn't expect it to be her. The great elder said emotionally. That's right. I haven't heard any news about her for a long time. I didn't expect to see her daughter again. Zhou said. They didn't expect it to be like this. The Zhou clan felt awkward. The person they wanted to torture and interrogate was actually the daughter of their benefactor. Now that they saw her, they felt embarrassed. It seems like there's no need to fight today. Yan Jin didn't expect the situation to change so suddenly. The Zhou clan clearly remembered Yu Kuluo's kindness. No fighting, no fighting. Since the little princess is the daughter of the Dark Princess, she is naturally our guest. Besides, didn't you say it yourself? You didn't invade this place on purpose. How can we keep harping on this? Zhou said, Zhou Hui, go tidy up Lin Lan courtyard for the guests to stay in. A girl stood up and acknowledged. She went to tidy up the best guest courtyard. Zhou said to Sima Yu, young princess, since you've come here, Why don't you stay in the clan for a while longer? Give us a chance and let us play host to you, alright? Sima Yue looked at Wu Lingyu. Seeing that he didn't have any objections, she agreed. She kept the scarlet bees. The dense swarm of scarlet bees flew in, causing them to have trypophobia. After keeping the scarlet bees, she said to Zhou Zhou, "Head Zhou, I want to ask you something." Chapter 1977. Zhou Zhou dismissed his clansmen. There was no need to interrogate her for now, so they did not need to stay here. What does little princess want to ask? Sima Yue looked at Yan Jin and Bandit 1. Bandit 1 wanted to leave, but Yan Jin sat on the chair and had no intention of leaving. Seeing Sima Yue looking at him, he even raised his eyebrows and was determined not to leave. These people were indebted to Yu Keluo, so they were indebted to her and not them. If they were stupid and wanted to deal with him, he would not bother to do it. He had seen how stupid the people in the Triangle region were. Sima Yue saw that he was not leaving and did not chase him away. She asked Zhou Zhou, "Patriarch Zhou, I want to ask you, is this place far from the 9th Underworld Mountain?" Under the 9th Underworld Mountain lived the 9th Underworld clan. They were once the true rulers of the ghost world. Zhou Zhou and Yan Jin were both shocked by her sudden question. Why would she ask such a question? "Why, Patriarch Zhou, can't I tell you?" Sima Yue asked. "It's not that I can't tell you, but I didn't expect you to ask this." Zhou Zhou said, "Are you going to the 9th Underworld Mountain to find the 9th Underworld clan?" "Yes." Sima Yue admitted. "It's not that I don't want to tell you, but I don't know either." "How can that be? Aren't you all in this region? How can you not know where the 9th Underworld Mountain is?" The 9th Underworld Mountain has not appeared for many years. Although there are still rumors about them, it's all in the past. Now very few people know the whereabouts of the 9th Underworld Mountain. Even those who know can't go in. I heard that no one has entered the 9th Underworld Mountain for hundreds of years. Zhou Zhou said. Hundreds of years? Isn't that too exaggerated? Could it be that someone went in but did not spread the news? Wu Lingyu guessed. No, it said that to enter the 9th Underworld Mountain, one must have the bloodline of the 9th Underworld clan. Also, there are guards outside the 9th Underworld Mountain. They said that no one has entered for a long time. Zhou Zhou said with certainty. This was something that everyone in the Triangle region knew. Sima Yu touched her chin. She didn't know if her grandfather had gone in. And her mother, had she gone in? Is my grandmother on 9 Nether Mountain now? Little princess, are you going to the 9 Nether Mountain? Zhou Zhou asked. Yes. Originally she didn't have any plans. However, when Yan Qi said that 9 Underworld's mountain was also in this area, she suddenly had an idea. Perhaps she could go and take a look. When the old ancestor had passed the underworld energy to her, he had hoped that she would lead the 9 Nether clan to prosperity. Now that he was here, how could he let go of this opportunity? Deske, I advise you to give up. Yenya sneered. Not just anyone can go to 9 Nether Mountain. Didn't you hear that one must have the bloodline of the 9 Nether clan? Can't I just think about it? Sima Yue looked at him. I said I want to stay as a guest. Why aren't you going back to your soul society? Now that you've lost the evil soul, I'm afraid that Kuhi and the forces behind him won't let you off, right? Why aren't you going back to deal with it? The gloating on your face is too obvious. Can't you be a little more reserved? You know that they won't let me off. I can't go back now. Isn't that just asking for trouble? That's why I want to hide here for a while. Yenya said that he was afraid, but he didn't look worried at all. If you want to pretend, you should at least be more professional. Sima Yue said in disdain. He's from the Soul Clan? Then why is he with the little princess? Zhou Zhou asked. We met in the Little Realm. Then I don't know his identity? Although we can invite you as guests, we have to know his identity first. This is also the rule here. He's the second in command of the main sect, Yanqi Sima Yue said. Then she pointed at Bandit 1 and said, This is the best array master in the Soul Society, Bandit 1. They are Yanqi and Bandit 1. You know them. Then I don't need to introduce them anymore. Sima Yue said. Actually, no matter how much she wanted to say, she couldn't. Of course I know Yanqi and Bandit 1. It's just that I haven't seen them before. Zhou Zhou smiled. They didn't expect Zhou and I to bring back so many powerful people. No wonder they were so confident. With Yanqi and Bandit 1, even if they killed them, they would definitely lose many of their people. Luckily, the little princess wasn't someone who liked to fight. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. You don't have to care about us. We'll just go with them. Yanqi said. At this moment, Zhou Hui came back. She said that the courtyard was ready and they could invite the guests over. Zhou personally sent them over and told them to tell him if they needed anything. He also said that he would personally bring them around the area. Patriarch Zhou, you're busy? You don't have to care about us. We'll go out when we want to. If there are any forbidden areas, just let us know in advance. Sima Yue said. All right. Zhou told them about the forbidden areas in the Zhou family. He said that if they needed him they could call him. Then Zhou planned to leave. Sima Yue stopped him and said, Patriarch Zhou, the people who escaped from you this time are called Ruins Valley. They're one of the 10 commanders under Qi He. They seem to have come to the triangular area to find some treasure. They've already left your territory. They had told them the person's identity and whereabouts. It was their own business whether to chase after them or not. Zhou left gratefully. I say, why do you want to stay? Yin Qi asked her. I want to stay. Sima Yue replied, I say, why do you want to stay with me? I want to stay. I want to stay. Yin Qi used her own words to reply. She was so angry that she almost died. Actually, they all knew that if they didn't figure out the situation here, how could they just leave? This was too out of character. You still want to deal with Ruins Valley? Yin Qi asked. So what if I do? You want to help me? Sima Yue snorted. Or are you going to snitch? None of them. Yen Jin stretched and said lazily, I prefer to watch the fun. Since you want to follow me, you can't cause trouble for me. I'll say the ugly words up front. If anything happens to you, I won't help you. Everything else is up to you. After Sima Yue finished speaking, she returned to the house with Wu Lingyu. As soon as she entered, she said, Lingyu, quickly call Fuxi out and check on his condition. Wu Lingyu opened her little realm and brought Fuxi out. Lingyu, you finally let me out. Are you guys alright? Fuxi asked as soon as he came out. He had also sensed Wu Lingyu's injury in the little realm. Thus he was extremely worried. He had been wondering if something had happened to her. He hadn't recovered yet. I'm fine. Sima Yue smiled at him. Sit down, I'll check on your body. Chapter 1978. Fuxi sat on the chair obediently and let her examine him. Actually, he could already feel the changes in his body, but he did not know how it was recovering. After Sima Yue finished examining him, her eyes lit up with joy. It seems like it's working, your body is already growing. Do you feel pain in your body recently? Yes. I feel pain in my bones, especially in my joints. However, you mentioned that this might happen before, so I wasn't worried. Fuxi replied. Yes. Now that it's growing, half of your problem is solved. Sima Yue said. What about the other half? Do you think it'll be fine as long as your body regains its growth? Sima Yue retracted her hand. MOU seal can only protect you for half a year, 2 months have already passed, which means you only have 4 months left. We have to make your body strong enough in these 4 months, at least to be able to support the power in your body. Also, when the seal is removed, you have to let it merge perfectly with you or else you won't be able to use this power. Fuxi was touched, she had really considered everything for him. Don't be so touched, let's do today's electric shock first. Then I'll prepare a medicinal bath for you. Sima Yue said, you have to grit your teeth and persevere. Seeing you like this, I suddenly feel scared. Fuxi had a bad feeling. It's not that scary. Sima Yue said, but the smile on her face did not seem to agree. Fuxi wanted to protest, but he could not. After all, this was for his own body, so he could only grit his teeth and do it. Sima Yue let him lie on the bed and gave him electric shocks as usual, then let him rest while she prepared a medicinal bath for him. When she opened the door, she saw Yen Jin coming over. What are you doing? Why did you feel the lightning? Yen Jin asked. Saving people. Sima Yue moved aside and Yen Jin saw Fuxi inside. Fuxi would be following her, so she could not be secretive now. As for the reason, there was no need to tell him. Who is this little kid? How did it appear? Yenya asked. Sima Yue briefly explained what happened in the little realm and then said, I still have something to do. In other words, since you already know, you can leave now. What do you want? I'll help you. Sima Yue. In the end, he was driven away by her. How could she let him see what she wanted to do? She knew that Yen Qi was now curious about her. He wanted to know more about her situation and learn more about her. She would be a fool to let him come. She knew that there was a natural hot spring bath here, so she went to take a look. She felt that using it as a medicinal bath would be better, so she took out a wooden bucket and poured the hot spring water into it. Then she refined the medicinal herbs one by one and poured them in. By the time she was done, the sky was already dark. She asked Wu Lingyu to carry Fuxi over. Take off his clothes and put him inside. Sima Yue ordered without raising her head as she checked the silver needles. Wu Lingyu stripped Fushi naked, leaving only his underwear, and threw him into the water. Ah! The intense pain made Fushi cry out, but he forced himself to endure it. However, his smiling face was pale from the pain. His whole body was already in pain after the anesthetic effect wore off. Now that he was thrown into the water, he felt as if his entire body was no longer his own. Sima Yue pushed a small table over and said, "Although this medicinal bath is very painful, the effect is very good. Moreover, with your body that was just electrocuted, the effect will be doubled. At the same time, the pain will also be doubled." Fushi nodded slightly. In order to survive, he had to endure it. Sima Yue saw that he was in so much pain and stuffed a towel into his mouth. "Don't bite your mouth." Fushi bit the towel and they could hear him gurgling. Wu Lingyu glanced at him, his eyes filled with praise. He knew how painful this medicinal bath was. In the past, he had been tortured by Old Man Devil. Not to mention that he had just been electrocuted and his body was already injured. However, other than the cry he made when he was in the water, he had not made any other sound. This guy's willpower was not bad. "I'll give you acupuncture now to speed up the absorption and reduce the pain," Sima Yue said. Fushi nodded slightly. Sima Yue inserted needles into his exposed areas. His skinny shoulders and head were densely packed with needles. "How are you feeling now?" "Much better." Fushi bit the towel and could not speak clearly, but Sima Yue could still understand. The pain had lessened, but it was still very painful. She did not know how long it would take for it to end. Just as he was about to lose consciousness, he felt someone carry him, wipe his body, and put him on a soft bed. Then she finally fell into a deep sleep. For him, this night was the most difficult night he had ever had in years. In the past, everyone around him felt sorry for him and could not bear to see him in so much pain. Even the slightest discomfort would make their hearts ache for a long time. If they knew that he was in such a state, they would probably jump out of their seats. Fortunately, the pain was not in vain. After sleeping for a day and a night, he woke up and realized that the injuries from the electrocution were mostly healed and did not hurt anymore. Ugh! He felt that his body was still a little heavy and his head was a little dizzy. Thinking about what he had gone through, he could not help but shiver. Other than receiving the Dragon God order, he had never been in so much pain in his life. Sima Yue pushed the door open and saw that he was awake. She said, "You're awake? Just in time to eat porridge." Fushi saw that she was carrying a tray and felt a little hungry after hearing what she said. He sat up and realized that he was not wearing any clothes. His little face turned red. Sima Yue saw that he was shy and held back her laughter. She placed the porridge on the table and sat down with her back facing him. She said, "Which part of your body have I not seen before? Hurry up, the porridge is going to turn cold and it will affect the efficacy of the medicine." Fushi's face turned even redder. Although he looked like a child, his mental age was 250 years old. How embarrassed would he be if she said that? Although he was grumbling in his heart, he quickly took out a set of clean clothes and put them on. He then went to wash up before sitting beside Sima Yue. Sima Yue had already scooped a bowl of porridge for him. There was a bowl of medicinal porridge and 3 light dishes. "It smells so good. What porridge is this?" Fushi asked. "This is a medicinal porridge specially made for your condition." Sima Yue said, "Are you feeling a little dizzy now? You'll feel better after eating this." "You made all of this?" Fushi drank a mouthful of porridge. It tasted extraordinarily good. "Yeah." Fushi's smile deepened and he felt warm in his heart. She was so good to him. Chapter 1979. Actually, he knew that Sima Yue was so nice to him because she promised to save him and because he was recommended by the old principal. But more importantly, he gave her the Northern God seal. Without it, she wouldn't be so devoted to him. Brother Lingyu is so lucky. He envied Wu Lingyu for being loved by Sima Yue. "I'm very lucky too." Sima Yue saw that he finished the porridge in a few gulps and gave him another bowl. "You can only eat this bowl. You just woke up and your body has been through so much. Eat less now." "Okay." Fushi drank 2 small bowls of porridge and felt a warm feeling spread from his stomach to his whole body. It cleared his muddled mind. "Yue, you're amazing. I feel like you know everything." "How can I know everything? I'm not omnipotent. It's just that what you see is what I know." Sima Yue said, "You should digest the medicine in your body properly. We'll continue in a few days." Fushi felt a little weak when he thought about the pain from the electric shock and the medicine bath. Sima Yue smiled and said, "Do you feel your body's condition now?" Hearing her say this, Fushi immediately sensed it and found that his body was much stronger than before. This effect could be said to be immediate. He was pleasantly surprised and said excitedly, "How can this be? This is great. This process is very painful, but you have to endure it. After all, we don't have much time left." Sima Yue said. Yes. Fushi liked the way she said, "we." It was clearly his problem, but she treated it as if it was a problem between the two of them. It felt so close to her. "I've already told Master Zhou that I'll be staying here for a few months. If you want to go out, don't wander around, understand?" "Okay, I understand." Sima Yue reminded him a few more times before leaving. Fushi's injuries were not completely healed. After she left, he climbed back into bed to rest. He lay on the bed and looked at the top of the mosquito net. Then he brought his hands to his eyes, clenched them, released them, and clenched them again. Then he chuckled. That's great. Finally, there was hope for survival. Finally, he didn't have to worry about dying when his body couldn't take it anymore. How nice. Sima Yue returned to her room. Wu Lingyu was reading a book inside. When she saw Sima Yue, she snorted and said, "You're so nice to him." Knowing that he was about to wake up, she cooked the porridge and sent it to him. "Why don't I get injured too?" "All right, if you're injured, I'll cook porridge for you too." "You can try," Sima Yue replied. "I saw that there was no medicinal porridge, but there was a plank." Sima Yue gave him a knowing look. Whenever she thought of Fushi, she would think of the North Divine Seal and her mood would drop. Sigh. She couldn't help but sigh. What would she do if he told her that the Northern Divine Seal in her hands was not real? "Don't worry." Wu Lingyu held her hand. "I don't want to think about it, but I just can't help it. No matter when, I'll be here. If there's really no other way, I'll call all the people from the devil world over and flip over the Avicii hell. We'll be able to save your mother." How can the devil world make such a big fuss just because of me? Although she said that, she was still very happy that he said so. "How is this your problem?" "It's my problem. I'm still waiting for your mother to be released so that I can marry you. This is a matter that concerns my lifelong happiness," Wu Lingyu said with a serious face. Smooth talker. Sima Yue poked his head and finally laughed. Wu Lingyu hugged her and let her sit on his lap. He stole a kiss on her lips and said, "I did so well, shouldn't I be rewarded? Didn't you just ask for it?" Sima Yue stared at him. "That's not enough." As they spoke, their lips were already entangled together. When Yanjin and Bandit came over, they only saw Huan staring at the sky in a daze in the courtyard. "She's not free now," Huan said. "I have business with her. Come back later." Huan was determined not to let the two go over. "Then let's wait here." Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu heard the movement outside and separated. Sima Yue glared at him. It was all his fault. She didn't even need to think to know that her lips must look red and swollen. It's okay." Wu Lingyu wiped her red lips and smiled charmingly. Yanjin and Bandit waited for a while before Sima Yue opened the door and asked, "What's the matter?" At a glance, Yanjin saw her lips, which were redder than usual, and immediately understood why Huan stopped him. "Bandit 1 and I are going out for a walk. Do you want to come with us?" Yanjin asked. Sima Yue wanted to say no, but she thought that she didn't need to care about Fushi's affairs now. She asked Huan to stay here and protect him. She and Lingyu went with them. Since they were here, it was better for them to go out and understand the situation. Huan wanted to go with them, but he couldn't ignore Sima Yue's order. Thinking that she now had an ancient war soul, he agreed. As soon as Sima Yue and the other three left the courtyard, the Zhou family knew. Zhou thought about it and didn't let anyone disturb them. He just asked people to pay attention to their situation. Since they chose to go out by themselves, they shouldn't disturb them. "Patriarch, she can do whatever she wants. Even if the little princess is the daughter of the Dark Princess, we don't have to treat her so politely, right?" The second elder was impatient and asked directly. Zhou pointed at him. "We treat her well, so naturally we won't lose out. Isn't it just repaying a debt of gratitude? Is there a need to do this?" The second elder didn't understand. We are also people here. Even if she is a princess, we don't have to flatter her too much." "But what if she is related to the Jiuyu clan?" "The Jiuyu clan? How can it be?" "Why not? Are you so sure?" Zhou asked. "Do you know something, Patriarch?" The second elder asked. "I'm just guessing." Zhou said, "If she is related to the Jiuyu clan, we should treat her well now. It's better than waiting for our relationship to be exposed." "But what if she has nothing to do with the Jiuyu clan? Or their relationship isn't good, and they are even worried? Won't that bring us trouble? What trouble will there be? When the time comes, we can say that we are treating her well now, not because of her mother's kindness to us, right? We are just repaying the kindness and won't get involved in her grievances. The second elder's eyes lit up. Patriarch, you are so thoughtful. Their plan was very good, but they soon regretted it. They were caught off guard by reality. Chapter 1980. For the rest of the time, Sima Yue treated Fushi and rarely went out. On the other hand, Yanqi and Bandit One often went out. In the first month, she gave Fushi electric shocks every half a month, a big medicinal bath every 10 days, and a normal medicinal bath every 3 days. In the second month, she gave him electric shocks every 10 days, a big medicinal bath every 5 days, and a small medicinal bath every day. In the third month, she gave him electric shocks every 5 days, a big medicinal bath every 3 days, and a small medicinal bath every day. In the fourth month, she changed the electric shocks to every 3 days. As her treatment improved, Fushi's body changed at a speed visible to the naked eye. It was not that he grew taller, but the aura on his body became stronger. He was no longer an ordinary child. Fushi now had a certain degree of adaptability to the electric current. The initial intensity of the electric current would make him lie down for 10 days to half a month, but now he only felt a little pain. Yue, I feel that I can now break a big rock with my palm. Fushi waved his hand happily in the bathtub. Don't move, I'm not done yet. Sima Yue patted his head and continued to collect the needles. Hee hee. Fushi smiled and retracted his hand, quietly letting her collect the needles. Sima Yue collected all the silver needles and turned around to pack up. She said to him, "You can get up now." Thinking back, he fainted the first time, but now he could stay awake. This improvement was really fast. Ugh. There was no rustling sound behind her, but Fushi groaned in pain. She turned around and saw Fushi holding the bathtub in pain. What happened to you? She walked over to see if she did something wrong. Fushi grabbed her hand, his face was pale. Yue, the power of the dragon god is coming out. Sima Yue estimated that it would happen in a few days. Hearing this, her hanging heart was half relieved. So it's this. She retracted her hand, took out a golden pill and stuffed it into his mouth. This was refined for you before, it can help you absorb the power of the dragon god. Once you've absorbed all the power, you'll truly possess it. Fushi felt that after eating the pill, the power seemed to have calmed down a little. However, it did not completely submit to him. It was still resisting, running all over his body, attacking his meridians, internal organs, and every inch of his flesh and bones. He tried to control them and guide them into his dantian, but the divine dragon's power was too fierce and he couldn't control it at all. He remembered that when he was 7 years old, he had also experienced the same pain. It should be said that it was even more painful. At that time, he had fainted and did not know what had happened. However, when he woke up, he knew that it was his master and the others who had saved him. Moreover, his master and the others had been in seclusion for a long time. It was only now that he truly understood how much effort his master had put into controlling the divine dragon's power. If he could survive this, he would definitely treat them better in the future. If he could really make it through this hurdle, the more he tried to suppress it, the more the dragon god's power resisted. Just as he was about to lose control, a scorching energy flowed into his body from his wrist. He opened his eyes with difficulty and saw Sima Yue's bright eyes filled with encouragement. Don't panic. She comforted him softly. His originally desperate and panicked heart calmed down. In this life he would never forget this pair of eyes, never forget this scene. Sima Yue used her spiritual power to wrap the vermilion bird's flame into his body. Although it was only a strand, every second consumed 10% of her spiritual power. Very soon she was feeling a little tired. She took out a bunch of pills and swallowed them, then controlled the flame to approach the dragon god's power. The power that was originally running wild in Fushi's body, perhaps still had the consciousness of the dragon god. When it saw the vermilion bird's flame, it was first excited. Then it calmed down and allowed her to guide it into his dantian. When a little went in, the rest followed. When Sima Yue saw that the rest of the power did not go berserk, she was relieved and retreated. The moment the vermilion bird's flame left Fushi's body, she couldn't support her body and fell backwards. Yue, Fushi opened his eyes and saw her fall to the ground. He wanted to get up, but found that he was being controlled and couldn't move at all. At the same time, Wu Lingyu suddenly appeared beside her and hugged her unconscious body. He looked at her and said, "Don't let her efforts go to waste." After saying that, he carried her to the bed and gave her a pill. Seeing that she didn't react, his eyes were as deep as water. Fuxi understood what Wu Lingyu meant. If he stopped now, the dragon god's power might go out of control again, and Yoyue's efforts would go to waste. He had no way out now and could only continue. Thinking of this, he calmed down and continued to guide the spiritual power into his dantian. With the influx of power, he felt that his strength was increasing. This was the power that belonged to him. Finally, he was no longer the host of this power. When he had completely absorbed the power in his body, his aura had completely changed. He opened his eyes and a sharp light flashed in them. It took a while for it to fade away. He waited for his aura to stabilize before immediately getting out of the bathtub. He put on his clothes and walked to the bed. He looked at Sima Yue and asked, "How is she?" "She overused her spiritual power and completely collapsed." Wu Lingyu answered him. "It's all because of me." Fuxi blamed himself. If it wasn't for guiding the power in his body, she wouldn't be like this. Using spiritual power to envelop the vermilion bird's flame, he knew how much energy it took to do that. Not to mention protecting him from being injured and guiding the dragon god's power into his dantian. She really did a lot for him. This is her own choice, Wu Lingyu said lightly. If blaming him could make her wake up, then he would. But it was useless. Although Wu Lingyu said this, Fuxi still felt sorry for her and asked, "Do you need us to do anything?" "No need." She rejected him directly. So hurt. Wu Lingyu didn't care about his feelings and continued, "Go and pack up those things." Fuxi wanted to guard Sima Yue, but after being glanced at by Wu Lingyu, he obediently left. When Huan came in, Sima Yue was still not awake. He took out a jade bottle and said, "Let her drink this." Wu Lingyu didn't know what it was, but she knew that Huan wouldn't harm her, so she fed her the liquid inside. After drinking the whole bottle, her aura became much more stable, but she showed no signs of waking up. Huan saw Wu Lingyu looking at him and said, "She's hurt too deeply. She won't wake up so soon." After half a day, Sima Yue woke up and saw Wu Lingyu's worried eyes when she opened her eyes. Chapter 1981. In 1 second she remembered, "Love divided by you?" Read book webquick update, no pop-up window, free to read. "Yue, how do you feel?" "My head, it hurts." Her voice was weak as if she was being pricked by needles. "Of course it hurts, you've overdrawn your mental strength." Huan's face was dark. "You've always been very sensible, this time how could you?" When he saw that Sima Yue was still smiling at him, he couldn't vent the anger in his heart. "Is Fuxi okay?" she asked. "You're about to die, why do you care about others?" Yan Jin came out from the side and snorted. He knew that Sima Yue had done these things for Fuxi, but he did not expect that she would make herself like this. Moreover, that little fellow was obviously not an ordinary person. Seeing him today, it was obvious that his entire person was different. "I'm happy." Sima Yue glared at him. If it were not for her body, she would have replied to him. "Yue, I'm here, I'm fine." Fuxi came to the bedside, his eyes were red, his nose was red and his eyelashes were still wet. It was obvious that he had just cried. Except for his two masters, no one had ever been so good to him. Although those people admired his identity and status, how many of them were sincere? And she had almost lost her life for him. At the thought of this he felt like crying. Sima Yue saw that he was fine, smiled slightly and then fell asleep again. Seeing her sleep like this, Fuxi's tears flowed down again. He never knew that he would cry when he saw a weak person. "Little guy, she saved you and you paid her. You should have seen this kind of thing a lot. Do you cry every time?" Yanjin teased. "No." "Then why are you crying?" "I mean, those people would not treat me like this." Fuxi said, "I've seen at least 299 doctors, but no one treated me like this." He had also paid them a lot of money, but they all took the things and left. Perhaps they had put in a lot of effort, but no one could do this for him. There was only her, so he would only cry for her. After that, Zhou and the others also came to visit her. Although they were curious as to how she ended up like this, everyone was willing to answer their questions, so they left after some polite words. After that, he sent over a lot of medicinal herbs that were useful for mental strength. Wu Lingyu collected the herbs and refined them into pills for Yue. Sima Yue slept for 3 days before waking up. Wu Lingyu was wiping her hands. Seeing her open her eyes, he asked, "You're awake?" How long have I been asleep?" Sima Yue stretched out her hand, wanting to rub her aching head. There were already fingers massaging her temples. "Including the first day, it's been 4 days." Wu Lingyu rubbed her head. "How do you feel? Do you feel better?" "I feel much better, but I still feel nauseous and dizzy." Sima Yue leaned on his palm. You're not allowed to do such things again. You scared us all. Although Wu Lingyu did not say it, Sima Yue knew that he was angry. I know there won't be a next time. Sima Yue said, but I thought that I would go to the Chaos World again. Last time, her mental strength had been overdrawn, so she went to the Chaos World and was brought out by him. At that time, she did not realize that she was very dependent on him. How can it be so easy to go to the Chaos World? You were just lucky that time. Wu Lingyu said. Lingyu, I feel that it was not a coincidence that I went to the Chaos World. There should be a reason. Sima Yue said, maybe it has something to do with my identity. You mean the Nine Nether clan? Yes. The Nine Nether clan is actually the Black Lotus clan. The Black Lotus was born in the Chaos River. Whether it is or not, you can't verify it now. Alright, don't think so much. Do you want to rest for a while more? Wu Lingyu asked. No, my head hurts even if I sleep more. Sima Yue shook her head slightly. What about Fushi? How is he? He has completely recovered. He has absorbed the Divine Dragon's power and his body is growing normally. He came for you to treat him. Now that he has been treated, he can leave. Wu Lingyu said. Sima Yue was stunned. He's leaving? Should be soon. Fushi heard him outside and pursed his lips. Sima Yue's mental strength was injured and did not know that he was outside. This guy definitely knew. He said that on purpose for him to hear. He did not want to go back. He wanted to follow her. He walked in and said with a smile, Yue, you're awake. If you didn't wake up, I would have to commit suicide to atone for my sins. Will you? Sima Yue sat up. Your new life has just begun. Can you bear to do that? For you, Yue, of course I can bear to do that. Fushi said seriously. But aren't you going to leave? Leave? Where to? I want to follow you. Fushi shouted. Yue, are you chasing me away? You've already recovered. Why aren't you leaving? Your master and the rest should be waiting for you, right? Wu Lingyu raised his eyebrows and chased him away. It seems like I've recovered, but who knows if something will happen again in the future. After all, this is something that no one has experienced before. If something happens, what will I do? I won't be able to find you then. Fushi looked at her pitifully. That's true. Your situation has never happened before and there are no records. I can't be sure if you've recovered. Sima Yue said, then let's observe for a while. Also, I think that after absorbing the Divine Dragon's power, your bloodline might change in the future. Will it awaken the bloodline in my body? Will I turn into a dragon? Fushi shouted. Sima Yue was surprised. You have the bloodline of the dragon clan in your body? It said that my ancestor has it, but no one has seen it. Fushi said. I think it's very likely. After all, the Divine Dragon Order wouldn't choose you for no reason. Sima Yue said, if that's the case, then we have to observe your future situation. Don't be in a hurry to go back. Okay. Fushi agreed and smiled at Wu Lingyu. That smile was very proud. Yue, are you awake? Yan Jin's voice came from outside. Sima Yue gave Fushi a look and he immediately went out. Very quickly, Yan Jin walked in carrying a child covered in blood. When he saw that Sima Yue had woken up, he casually placed the child on a stool saying, take a look. Can this child be saved? The child looked about the same size as Fushi. He was covered in wounds and his facial features were unrecognizable. His clothes were tattered and there was no place left untouched. He leaned weakly on the chair and fainted. Chapter 1982. Sima Yue shifted her gaze away from the child and looked at Yan Jin. What's going on? Where did you bring him back? Why are you so cold? They're both children, but your attitude towards Fushi and this little guy is so different. Yan Jin said. My head is still hurting. Why did you suddenly bring me someone covered in wounds? Sima Yue frowned. If he's from the Zhou family, why don't you just hand him over to the head of the Zhou family? He's not from the Zhou family. I met him when I was wandering outside. I pitied him so I brought him back. Yan Jin said. You're the second in command of the Main sect. You've killed countless people. Why would you pity a child? Do you even believe your own words? Sima Yue rolled her eyes at him. Of course I believe it. If you don't say it properly, then you'll have to solve your own problems. Sima Yue leaned on Wu Lingyu, still very weak. I'm not spouting nonsense. I picked him up from the outside. Yan Jin saw that Sima Yue had decisively closed her eyes and hurriedly said, when I came back from outside just now, I saw two children being chased on the road. The older one risked his life to protect the younger one and my heart softened, so I saved him. Sima Yue stared at Yan Jin for a while. Alright, I'll treat him. As she spoke, she got up from Wu Lingyu's body and went to the little boy's side. When she saw the wounds all over his body, she shook her head and sighed. How could you do this to such a young child? Move him to your bed. Why go to my bed? Wait, does that mean you agree? Yan Jin was surprised. He didn't say anything just now, did he? Didn't you think of yourself? You were dazed for a moment just now. Sima Yue returned to the bed. If you don't want him to go to your place, then move him to Bandit 1's bed. Bandit 1 stared at Yan Jin as if he wanted to challenge him. Isn't there an empty room next to yours? Let's do it here. You don't have to go so far. Aren't you still injured? In the end, Yan Jin placed the child beside Sima Yue. Very quickly, Sima Yue came over. She saw that Yan Ju had already taken off his clothes. She first took his pulse before taking out 2 pills for him to eat. Then he took out the first aid kit and treated all of his external injuries. By the time she was done, she was even more dispirited. All right. I've done everything I can. Take 1 pill a day and leave the rest to time. She put away the rest of the gauze and her body swayed. Wu Lingyu hurried to her side, bent down and picked her up, bringing her back to her room. You are not allowed to get out of bed for a month. 1 month? I'll get moldy. 2 days. Half a month. 5 days. 10 days, that's the minimum. Otherwise I'll tie you to the bed. Alright, 10 days it is. He's too lenient with her. How can 10 days be enough for her to recover? Fushi muttered. However, with her personality, it's good enough that she can stay in bed for 10 days. Bandit 1's evaluation was very sharp. That's true. 10 days, this person should be fine by now, right? Hopefully he won't cause any trouble. Bandit 1 looked at the child who was wrapped up like a mummy and thought of the people who were chasing after him. He prayed that they wouldn't catch up so quickly. There's indeed something wrong with this child. Fushi shouted. I'm going to tell Yue. You think she doesn't know? Yan Jin glanced at her calmly. She knew before the treatment. Then why is she still messing around with you? This is called saving a life is better than building a 7-floor pagoda. How is this messing around? You're just a child who doesn't learn to be good all the time. Why are you so talkative? I'm just afraid that you'll cause trouble and affect her recovery. If you cause trouble, solve it yourself. Don't disturb her. Fushi turned and left after saying that. This aura tiske, how was this the obedient child in front of Sima Yue? But now he was a little worried. Those people seemed to be determined to get the 2 siblings. He was afraid that it wouldn't be long before they found this place. He only hoped that it wouldn't affect her recovery. Otherwise, Wu Lingyu and Huan would probably come after him. Sima Yue was placed on the bed by Wu Lingyu. She lay down obediently, pulled on his clothes and looked at him with a smile. Lingyu, I want to sleep. Then sleep. Wu Lingyu said coldly. You stay with me. I still have something to do. I want to hug you to sleep. I can't sleep without you. Sima Yue looked at him with grievance. If he continued to give her that look, she would probably cry. Wu Lingyu looked at her. His eyebrows were full of tiredness. No matter how angry he was, it was because of his heartache. He sighed, took off his shoes and lay down beside her. Sima Yue smiled, rubbed in his arms like a kitten, and then lay down on his shoulder and fell asleep. Wu Lingyu lay flat on the bed. His left shoulder was used as a pillow for her, and his left hand was around her body. Sima Yue lay on her side. Her left hand was around his waist. She didn't sleep very well. Wu Lingyu wanted to touch her cheek with his right hand, but after thinking about it, he changed it to holding her left hand. The anger in his heart couldn't be vented. In the end, he could only turn it into a long sigh. When Sima Yue was completely asleep, he slimmed his numb arm back. He took a pillow for her and got out of bed. He found Yan Jin and said, "What's wrong with this child?" Yan Jin saw his serious expression and knew that he couldn't avoid it. He could only tell the whole story. He thought that Wu Lingyu would be angry after hearing the story. He didn't expect that Wu Lingyu would turn around and leave after hearing the story. Instead, he was confused. He just left like that. He didn't say anything. Why didn't he express his opinion? He just wants to know what's going on. Bandit 1 guessed. This man really... Yan Jin wanted to say something, but in the end he found that he was speechless. He pampered her a little too much. He was clearly worried and angry, but he still went along with her. After settling her down, he took care of the aftermath for her. As a man, he couldn't do this for a woman. Sima Yue slept very comfortably this time. Perhaps it was because of the effect of the pill, or perhaps it was because the matter in front of her was temporarily resolved. Or perhaps it was because her body needed her to recover quickly, and sleep was a good way to recover mental strength. In short, she slept very soundly until she was woken up by a commotion. She opened her eyes. She didn't know how long she had slept, but she felt refreshed when she woke up. I don't know what Lingyu gave me to eat. How did I recover so quickly? She sat up and heard a commotion outside, mixed with the crying of a child. Remember the mobile version of the website. Chapter 1983. Everyone welcomes your presence. Please remember the address of this website so that you can read the latest chapters of Crazy Wife, 5th Miss Miracle Doctor, at any time. Bad people. You bad people. Let go of my sister. The child's cry was laced with tears. Patriarch Zhou, this child is a slave that we bought. I advise you to leave him alone. This? Patriarch Yan, since this child belongs to them, don't you think it's better for them to take him back? Zhou hesitated for a moment but still chose to stand against them. I saved this child. Do you think you can take him away just because you want to? Although Yanjin really wanted to get rid of the crying child who was hugging his leg, he held himself back when he saw how the child was trembling. Yanjin, this is not your main sect. Do you know what will happen to you if you offend us? A sharp voice shouted. Yanjin snorted, not taking their threat seriously. Yanjin, don't be so shameless. Are you worthy of my respect? Yanjin looked at him with contempt. Yanjin. Someone shouted. This was an insult to them. Yanqi, we're only speaking nicely to you now because you're a guest of the Zhou clan. If you insist on going against us, don't blame us for being rude. Oh? How are you going to be rude? Are you going to take us back? The man snorted coldly, then said to Zhou, Patriarch Zhou, please don't interfere in this matter. If our patriarch finds out about this, I'm afraid he'll take his anger out on the Zhou family. Patriarch Zhou, you don't want to make us your enemy because of a few outsiders, do you? Patriarch Zhou was filled with regret. He had thought that nothing would happen if he only entertained Yue and the others. He could even get closer to them. Who would have thought that they would be related to the big families here? It was all Yanjin's fault. Why did he have to save this child? Patriarch Zhou? The man called out when he saw that Patriarch Zhou was silent. Zhou hesitated for a moment, then apologized to Yanjin and took a step back. This step made it very clear that the Zhou family would not interfere in this matter. They were free to do whatever they wanted. Yanjin wasn't surprised by Zhou's decision. People like him would always choose what they thought was beneficial to them. However, they would soon taste the bitter fruit of their choice. These people were not surprised by Zhou's choice. The Zhou clan was just a small clan here. How would they dare to go against a big clan like theirs? Do it. No matter what, you have to bring him back today. Once the order was given, these people moved to capture the child. Yanqi took out his jade flute and prepared to attack. Did I say we could fight here? Wu Lingyu had been standing in the corridor, watching Yanjin and the others with cold eyes. Now that they were about to make a move, he spoke up to stop them. Yanjin turned to look at him and shrugged. This is not what I want. You see, I've been trying my best to reconcile. It's useless, Wu Lingyu said disdainfully. No one knew if he was referring to the fact that Yanjin had been found and it was useless, or if he was referring to the fact that it was useless today and it was useless to solve the problem. And who are you? Wu Lingyu ignored the speaker and said to Yanjin, I told you not to disturb her. I'm sorry you, creak. Sima Yue's door opened and she walked out. Looking at the people in the courtyard, she said, What are you arguing about? Do you know you're disturbing my sleep? Did we disturb you? Wu Lingyu walked over and put an arm around her shoulder. I'm almost done sleeping. Sima Yue smiled at him. How long have I slept? 7 days. 7 days? I slept for so long? She thought it would be 3 or 4 days at most. She did not expect it to be 7 days. This was a little unreasonable. I added some calming medicine to the pills you took. Wu Lingyu explained. I see. I was wondering why I slept so well. I thought this little noise wouldn't disturb you, but it still woke you up. The effect of the medicine has almost been absorbed. It was the effect of the medicine that calmed the nerves. Do you still feel uncomfortable? I'm completely fine. That's good. I should say it's good to have you here. Seeing the two of them talking as if no one else was around, the others did not look happy. Don't bother about those two. Bring the child here first. Yanjin smiled at Sima Yue. Since you're awake, I can do whatever I want. Sima Yue pouted. Although I'm curious about who these people are talking about and what happened, Let's talk about it after you settle it. All right. Yanjin smiled. Although Sima Yu didn't know what was going on, she could roughly guess it. Her words meant that she agreed with him. No matter what, she trusted him. Was it because they were on the same side? No matter what the reason was, he was happy to have such trust in him. He put the jade flute to his lips. The melodious sound of the flute rushed towards those people with a cold aura. The aura was actually a real attack. Bang! The ground of the courtyard was directly smashed into a pit. Those people dodged at the last moment. Master Yan's musical attack is indeed extraordinary. The people on the other side were furious. An outsider dared to defy them. Yanjin did not waste time talking to them and continued to play the flute. Notes flew out one after another, forcing those people into a desperate situation. Master Zhou, are you just going to watch? Those people could not hold on any longer and shouted at Zhou. Zhou did not expect them to fight just like that. Moreover, it was in the Zhou family's territory. Before he could decide whether to help or who to help, the Zhao family had already called out. You don't have to call him. He won't help you today no matter what. Yanjin stopped and admired their predicament. Zhou, do you want to be enemies with us? The Zhao family was in a difficult situation. Hearing his words, they directed their anger at Zhou. Master Zhao, how can I be enemies with the Zhao family? You can't just say that. Zhou quickly explained. Then why didn't you do anything just now? If she didn't wake up just now, he might have done something. But now this is her idea. If he makes a move, then the Zhou family will be regarded as ungrateful. Yanjin kindly explained to them. The Zhao family looked at Zhou. Zhou nodded. That's right. The Dark Princess has helped us before. I can't just stand by and watch. So you still want to be enemies with us? No. Master Zhao, you misunderstood. What I mean is that the Dark Princess has helped us before. My Zhou family must repay her kindness today. As for the future, the Zhou family will not interfere in these matters. Chapter 1984. Zhou felt like his heart was bleeding. His words meant that he no longer had anything to do with Sima Yue. Then all his efforts over the past few months would have been in vain. Not to mention anything else, just the amount of medicine that Sima Yue had to spend while she was injured was enough to make his heart ache for a long time. Sima Yue already knew about Zhou's plan, so she didn't sympathize with him when she saw his pained expression. If he didn't scheme against her, how could he have gotten such an outcome? However, little princess, even if I won't help them this time, I can't let you kill them. Zhou added, also you can't stay in the Zhou family anymore. If anything happens because of this child in the future, forgive me for not being able to stand on your side. Sima Yue smiled and nodded. We've disturbed the Zhou family for so long, it's time for us to leave. Zhou felt his face burning and his heart throbbing in pain. Yanjin, we're about to leave, why don't you hurry up and settle the matter? Sima Yue said. All right. I'll have to fight seriously this time. Yanjin put away his jade flute and took out a jade flute. The Zhao family who were barely holding on were quickly defeated. Just as Yanjin was about to give them the final blow, Zhou moved. He dispersed Yanjin's notes and said, Yanjin, I've said it before, we can't kill anyone today. Yanjin stopped. All right, although you did it to repay our kindness, you've still treated us well for a few months. I still have to give you some face. Fushi, have you packed your things? Sima Yue asked. It's already packed, Fushi replied obediently. Then let's go. Sima Yue turned to look at Zhou. Patriarch Zhou, thank you for your hospitality. You've already repaid my mother's kindness today. If there's any conflict in the future, I believe you won't hold back. Goodbye. Huan opened a spatial tunnel and Sima Yue walked in with a group of people. Seeing them leave, Zhou hurriedly went to help the Zhao family. This Yanqi, when I return and report to the Patriarch, I'll make sure he dies without a burial ground. Zhou helped Zhao Rui up, but he felt pain all over his body. He shook off Zhou's hand and shouted, Patriarch Zhou, are you going to let them go just like that? When I go back, I will also report this matter to the Patriarch. Let's see if your Zhou clan can withstand the Patriarch's anger. Zhou quickly smiled apologetically. Young Master Zhao, as you can see, I don't have a choice either. We didn't know that they had offended the Zhao family. Now that we have repaid the Dark Princess, we won't be biased towards them anymore. If the Zhao family needs anything, my Zhou family will be willing to risk our lives to help. Zhao Rui snorted coldly, but his anger subsided a lot. Big brother, now is not the time to be angry. Capturing them is the most important thing. Someone stepped forward and reminded him. You're right. Zhao Rui said, Patriarch Zhou, you didn't care just now. Now that he's gone, you've repaid your debt. Didn't you just say that if we need it, your Zhou clan will do anything for us? Now I want you to go kill them. Are you willing? Zhou complained in his heart, but did he dare to refuse? But they were still outsiders. The Zhao family was the real tough bone in this area. He called the Great Elder over and ordered him to bring people to kill Sima Yue and the others. Other than the child that the Zhao family wanted, the others were to die. The Great Elder was outside before, so he knew what was going on. Although he felt that it was too fast for him to send people to kill them as soon as they left the Zhou family, he didn't have the guts to not do it. Thus, he went out and gathered some people, ordering them to immediately find Sima Yue and the others. Zhao Rui was satisfied with the Zhou family's attitude. He rubbed his aching chest and said to the Zhao family, Let's go back. Young Master Zhao, you're still injured. Why don't we send people to the Zhao family and report this matter to the family? You can go back when you're better. Zhou said. No, there are many things that I have to report personally. Zhao Rui ignored Zhou Zhua and left the Zhou family with the Zhao family. After everyone left, the Great Elder walked forward and looked at the courtyard that was destroyed by the battle. He sighed and wanted to say something, but his heart felt stifled. The Patriarch was probably even more stifled than him. It was really, sigh. Sima Yue and the others didn't walk far before they came out of the space tunnel. Yenya looked at the surrounding scenery and said, We're not out of the Zhou family's territory yet. We've already walked so far. Is the Zhou family that big? Sima Yue asked. It's not that the Zhou family is that big. It's just that Huan chose the furthest direction from them. Yenya had figured out the Zhou family's territory during this period of time, so he could tell at a glance. Then we're really lucky. Sima Yue said, If we don't come out, then so be it. They weren't afraid of the Zhou family's power anyway, so it didn't matter if they were caught. They didn't have to make themselves look like fugitives. Then where are we going now? Yenya asked. We have to figure out the situation first before we can determine the direction of our next step. The sun was too bright, so Sima Yue went to the side of a big tree and sat on the exposed roots, waiting for them to tell her the whole story. Wu Lingyu came to her side and sat down. Fuxi ran to her other side and sat down. He took out a few walnuts and stuffed half of them into her hand. Then he lowered his head and began to peel and eat them. Sima Yue didn't eat the walnuts and just played with them in her hand. Wu Lingyu left 2 for her and took the rest. He picked out the pulp and put it in her hand. Yue, his name is Haishi, and his sister is Haixing. Yenya pushed Haishi in front of Sima Yue and said, You should ask him what's going on. Yenya, do you think that I won't settle the score with you just because you're using a child as a shield? Sima Yue glanced at him, or rather, it's best for me to leave you now. Don't. If you leave me now, wouldn't we have saved you for nothing? Yenya felt that he was much better than before. If it wasn't for Haishi, he would be like a fish in water here. But with Haishi, he could guarantee his own safety, but he might not be able to protect Haishi. Tell me what's going on first. Sima Yue took the walnuts that Wu Lingyu had peeled. She ate one and fed Wu Lingyu another. Haishi, you should tell her. Yenya patted Haishi's head. Although Haishi was very young, he was very smart. He could tell that Sima Yue was the one in charge. He came in front of her and knelt down with a plop. He kowtowed to her 3 times. I know. My injury was healed by you. Thank you. Actually, my sister and I were bought by the Zhao family. Remember the mobile version of the website, M. Chapter 1985. Sima Yue was surprised by Haishi's words. Since you were bought by the Zhao family, then you are technically part of the Zhao family. Sima Yue said, but there are still auctioneers like this? There are many underground auctions that sell things that cannot be seen in public but also people. Yen Jin said. Since you were chosen to be auctioned, it means that you have value. Sima Yue touched her chin. What value do you have? Haishi lowered his head and did not say anything. He bit his lips, feeling conflicted. Sima Yue looked at Yenju. Yenju shrugged. He didn't know either. When he asked before, Haishi didn't say anything either. Even when he threatened to send him away, he didn't say anything. Sima Yue was not anxious. Anyway, it was a good thing for her if she did not know. If she said anything, she might be dragged down. Haishi raised his head and looked at Sima Yue. She did not care much about his secret. There was no curiosity, no probing, no filth in her eyes. There was only clarity. He decided to use himself to make a bet. If he won, he could at least save his sister. If he lost, he would just have to pay with his life. Kid, if there is anyone in this world who can save you and your sister, it's only her. Yanjin said. Yanjin, don't flatter me. Sima Yue threw the walnut in her hand at him. Yanjin caught it and played with it in his hand. I'm not flattering you. I'm just telling the truth. You said that I'm the only one who can save them. Isn't that flattering me? Sima Yue snorted. Then tell me, why am I the only one who can save the world? Look, those who are strong don't have the heart like you. Those who have the heart don't have the strength. Only you have the heart and the strength. You're also bold and have a strong background. You're not afraid of piercing through the sky. Yanjin counted with his fingers seriously. Stop. Sima Yue called him. Why does it sound like you're not praising me? Why not? Yanjin said, these are all your strengths. Only you have all these conditions, so you are the only savior. But why do I hear from your words that I'm someone who wants to see the world in chaos? That's because you misunderstood. Yanjin said firmly. Desuke, how can I believe your words? Sima Yue could not be bothered with him. Haishi finally made a decision. He kowtowed to Sima Yue and said, Little princess, I don't know where you are from, but if you can save my sister, I am willing to follow you. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. Why does it sound like I'll benefit a lot if you follow me? Actually, my sister and I are both human cauldrons. Haishi's words made the air freeze for a moment. When the wind blew, only the rustling of leaves could be heard. Haishi raised his head and looked at Sima Yue. He lowered his head and continued, although I'm still young, I'll grow up one day. By then, stop. Sima Yue knew why he said he was willing to follow her. He wanted to be her human cauldron when he grew up. She looked at Yanjin and Fei. They were obviously shocked by his words. So this was the reason why he did not say anything. Your sister is one too? She asked. Yes. Haishi nodded. Because of our bloodline, many people in our family were human cauldrons. Our family was exterminated because of this. Those who were not human cauldrons were killed. Those who were, the older ones were taken away. Those who were younger like me and my sister were sold to the underground auction. He thought of the scene of his family being exterminated and his body could not help but tremble. Tears flowed down his face, but he did not let himself cry. If his family was strong, they would not have been exterminated. If he was strong, his sister would not have to sacrifice herself and fall into the hands of those people. If he did not die, he must become strong and kill those people to avenge his family. But would he have that day? He lowered his head. He did not see the other people's expressions and his heart was anxious. He had already expressed his feelings to her, but her reaction was different from what he expected. She was not happy or excited. She also did not have the interest in other people's eyes. In the past, he hated those people's expressions, but now he felt uneasy because she did not. If she did, it meant that he was still useful to her. He could use this as a condition to ask her to save his sister. If she did not want him, what condition did he have to ask her to help? Thinking of this, his heart was filled with despair. Sigh. A sigh came from above his head. Then he was pulled up by a gentle force. He raised his head and saw her pitying eyes. Little princess? He could not help but call her. Sima Yue sighed again. Your body is yours, not someone else's. If you can take good care of your body in the future, I will help you save your sister. If you always think that your body is something you can rely on in the future, then you are not worthy of your sister risking her life to let you escape. Haishi's tears fell again. He was originally crying quietly, but when he saw Sima Yue looking at him seriously, he suddenly burst into tears. He rushed into Sima Yue's arms and cried until his whole body was shaking. Wu Lingyu's face darkened again. Sima Yue patted Haishi's head. He's just a child. Otherwise he would be dead. Wu Lingyu stared at Haishi wanting to pull him out. Haishi cried until the sky darkened. He cried out all the fear and helplessness he had felt during this period of time. Sima Yue's dress was wet. He's just a child. Where did he get so many tears to cry? Yanqi sighed. Sigh, I was the one who saved him. Shouldn't you trust me more? In the end, he went into Sima Yue's arms just like that. He felt a little defeated. With your murderous aura, I can tell that you can't be trusted. Bandit 1 mocked him without holding back. You are really... Yanqi squinted at him. No matter what, I was the one who saved him. Not only did I save him, but I also accompanied him for so many days. This is not good. Sima Yue glanced over, using her eyes to express her meaning. Then you do it? Then forget it. Yanqi smiled at her. He was also used to throwing things aside. If he could avoid doing things himself, he would definitely not do it himself. Fushi kept looking at Haishi, the walnuts in his mouth crunching loudly. He was also a child. He did not know if he could do the same thing. But he was not a child. Would he be sent flying by the guy who released the air conditioner? Remember the mobile version of the website, M. Chapter 1986. Shihai cried for a long time. Sima Yue and the rest didn't comfort him and let him cry out all the negative emotions that had accumulated in his heart. When his voice was hoarse and his spirit was gone, he gradually stopped crying. When he stopped crying and laid motionless on Yue's lap, everyone realized that he had fallen asleep. Wu Lingyu glanced at Huan. Huan went forward and carried him away. Then our next step is to go to the Zhao family? Yinya asked. No. Sima Yue shook her head. What we need to do now is to get rid of those people who are following us. Yinya paused for a moment before saying, they took so long to catch up. I thought they wouldn't come. The Zhao clan won't let the Zhou clan off so easily. Sima Yu's lips curled into a mocking smile. Zhou thought that he wouldn't be involved in this matter by saying that he was repaying his debt of gratitude. He was too naive. If he made a move when he was in the Zhou family, the Zhao family might not say anything. But now the Zhou family couldn't get off the boat. Let me do it. Fei said. Okay. Sima Yue was happy that he would take over. I want to see how powerful the #1 in the Soul Society is. Fei didn't say anything. He took out the array stones and casually arranged them. But it seemed casual, but there was a hidden meaning. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows and said, when a master makes a move, the reaction is indeed different. Fei smiled, and there was a hint of shyness in his smile. It's not a piece of cake for you. Yinya looked at them in surprise. Are you shy? It can't be? You're wrong. Fei said lightly, but his gaze was evasive. You evolved this from the ancient array. Sima Yue said. No wonder she felt that the way he used the array was familiar. Now that she looked at it carefully, she finally understood. If you can say it, it means that you have done a lot of research on ancient arrays. Fei didn't deny it. Those who could see it were not ordinary. Not really, I just know a little. Especially when they were researching the 10 great ancient arrays, she and Wu Lingyu had indeed researched a little about the ancient arrays. It had to be said that the power of ancient formations was much more powerful than the current formations. What she learned was the array formation of the 100 changing doors. It was already much more powerful than the current array formation, but compared to the true ancient array formation, there was still a gap. The people from the Zhou family are here. Huan hugged Haishi and didn't feel out of place at all. Haishi was really tired and had found hope, so he slept very soundly and showed no signs of waking up when they talked. Let's see how effective you are then. Sima Yue said. The Zhou family members chased after them. When they saw the empty valley, their expressions turned ugly. Looks like they've left. Are we too late? Probably. I didn't expect them to run so fast. We chased after them as soon as we got the news, but we still couldn't catch up to them. She took so many of our things. Are we just going to let her go? When they thought of the things that Sima Yue had taken away from their clan, they felt their hearts ache. Zhou and I, what's the matter with that child? Since you don't want to talk about it, let's not ask. Zhou and I was also in the team that chased after them. When he thought of Sima Yue, he frowned. What we need to do now is to catch up with them and bring the child back. The patriarch said that except for the child, the life or death of the others doesn't matter. We don't care about the life or death of those people. We just need to get back the things that she took from us. The child is the key. Zhou and I said. If anything happens to him, we can't explain it to the Zhao family. So even if you die, he can't die. Do you understand? Got it? Let's go. Since the news just came, they can't have gone far. They walked a few meters forward, and the scenery in front of them suddenly changed. The green mountains and blue waters turned into a scorched ancient battlefield. One by one, the souls of war crawled out of the ground and staggered towards them. Heavens, what are these things? Who are these people? Where are we now? Pa! The sudden clap of thunder in the dark sky gave them a fright. Heavens, it's tribulation lightning. Why is there tribulation lightning here? Everyone don't panic. These aren't real. We are now in an illusion. Zhou and I shouted, telling the clan members not to panic. That's right. We are now in an illusion. These souls of war and this battlefield are all illusions. They are not real. The Zhou family elder who was in charge of leading the team said. It's an illusion array. Who set it up here? It must be Sima Yue and the others. Someone said hatefully. I didn't expect them to create such trouble for us before they escaped. To think that we treated them so well and treated her as our benefactor. That's right. If I catch her, I will definitely chop off her limbs and turn her into a human swine. I will also skin her and make her bones. Alright, let's not talk about this now. Let's think of a way to get out first. Zhou and I scolded. The people who were scolded were very unhappy, but they did not dare to talk back. However, they were still thinking about the suggestion just now. They must not let her die so easily. Wu Lingyu stood outside the array. When he heard that they wanted to turn Yue into a human swine and skin her to make bones, his anger rose. However, the pressure around him was getting lower and lower. Very good, they chose their own way of dying. If Bandit 1's array did not kill them, he had already thought of how to deal with them. Bandit 1 stood beside him and seemed to have guessed his thoughts. He said, they can't live. Inside the array, the Zhou family did not know that Sima Yue and the others were outside. They saw the souls of war in front of them. Don't be afraid, don't be afraid. These are all fake. Don't worry about them. Just pretend you didn't see them. A timid person saw the souls of war walking towards him and muttered with his eyes closed. Who? The figure with a spear pierced through his body interrupted his prayer. He looked down at the spear in his chest and saw his blood dripping down the spear. How could this be? Bang! Until the moment he fell, he did not know how this happened. Weren't these people illusory? How could he really die? This is an attack-type illusion array. Zhou and I shouted. How could it be an attack-type illusion array? This doesn't have the spiritual energy fluctuation of an attack-type illusion array. Ah, another person was killed by the souls of war. His screams made those doubts meaningless. This was an attack-type illusion array. Although they did not know why this was different from the others, they did not have time to think about it. Since this was all real, they had to deal with so many souls of war. Remember the mobile version of the website. Chapter 1987. Boom! A thunderous roar came from the sky. When the Zhou family heard this sound, many of them were scared stiff. The battle soul's attack was real. Did that mean that the tribulation cloud was real too? If this lightning struck them, would they still be able to survive? Boom! Ah! Someone screamed from the crowd, not because they were struck, but because they were scared by the tribulation cloud. Their bodies went soft and they forgot about the battle soul's existence. Everyone, don't be afraid. This tribulation cloud is illusory and won't cause any harm. Otherwise, it would have attacked us long ago. The elder shouted. As the backbone of the team, he waved his arm and shouted. Everyone's condition was indeed much better. But before he could finish his sentence, a bolt of lightning fell from the sky and struck him directly. What he said just now had become a joke. But the power of this lightning wasn't strong, so this elder wasn't killed in one strike. But his complexion wasn't good. He had a feeling that this lightning bolt was meant to slap his face. Sima Yu burst out laughing, saying, this lightning is quite human-like. It's just that the power is a bit lacking. I'll improve it next time. Bandit 1 listened seriously. This lightning was indeed used to fool people. It was said that it was used to attack the mentality of those people in the array. Who asked the people in the ghost realm to be so afraid of lightning? Using this would allow those people to be killed even faster. But this lightning's attack was indeed weak. So when it met someone who really played with lightning, it wasn't enough. Later on, I'll also make something so human in the illusion array. It's effective and fun. Sima Yue said with a smile. Then why don't you tell me how to increase the power of the lightning, and I'll tell you how to set it up. Bandit 1 probed. Alright, deal. I like to talk to people like you. Sima Yue said with a smile. After we save the starfish, we'll discuss the array. Alright. In the array, the Zhou family members were all frightened by the lightning. Adding on the battle soul's attack, they were quickly defeated and half of them died. As for those who were still alive, they were all covered in wounds and had no fighting power left. Sima Yue wanted to say that they should just let it go. These people were just following orders. However, when she saw Wu Lingyu staring at them, she swallowed her words. Thinking about what he had said before, she still felt that it would be better for these people to just die. At least they would die happily. If they were to fall into his hands, they would probably be skinned and their limbs chopped off. They would be made into human swine and would beg for death. Until the last person died, the Zhou clan members did not walk out of the illusion array. It should be said that Fei One's illusory array attack was strong and its effect was fast. It didn't give them any time to think about how to deal with this illusory array. Sima Yue sighed as she watched Zhou and I fall to the ground. She turned around and left. The others followed her. The bandits waved their hands one by one and retrieved the array stones. The piles of corpses of the Zhou clan members were revealed. Soon the Zhou clan members would discover them. They had left the Zhou clan's territory. None of them knew where the Zhao clan was. It seemed that they could only ask someone first. However, they didn't know whose territory was next to theirs. After walking for a long time, they didn't see anyone. Half a day later, Haishi, who was nestled in Huan's arms, finally woke up. As soon as he opened his eyes, he saw Huan's cold face. He was so scared that he trembled. "Ah, Huan, look at you. You're so scary that you scared Haishi." Yanjin saw this scene from the side and couldn't help but laugh. Huan looked down at Haishi. Seeing that he had woken up, he put him on the ground. "Thank you." Although Haishi was scared, he still mustered up the courage to thank him. "No need." He hugged him because of Sima Yue, not because of him, so he didn't need to thank him. Sima Yue turned around and saw that Haishi was scared. She waved at him and said, "Haishi, come here." Haishi ran over and subconsciously grabbed Sima Yue's sleeve like a lost child. "I didn't ask you before. How old are you?" Sima Yue asked. 7 years old. My sister is 10 years old. Haishi replied. 10 years old was the age that those people liked the most. As long as they were raised for another 3 or 4 years, they would be able to use them. 10 years old is considered a hit. I don't know if... No. My sister is still in good condition. Haishi said with certainty. Why are you so sure? Because a female cauldron will only be able to open her bloodline at the age of 13. Only after opening her bloodline will she be called a real cauldron. And a male cauldron will be at the age of 12. Haishi replied. In other words, you and your sister are not real cauldrons now. Then why did those people buy you? If you don't open your bloodline when you reach the age, then those people will lose out. Sima Yue said doubtfully. Because of this. Haishi rolled up his sleeve, and there was a pink crescent-shaped birthmark on his forearm. This is a birthmark that only those with bloodline will have. A man is a crescent and a woman is a flower. As long as you have this, you will definitely be able to open your bloodline and become a cauldron. Sima Yue touched his head and said, You are not a cauldron, it is a type of body. The advantage is that it allows you to cultivate very quickly and rarely encounter bottlenecks. This is the real function of your body. Those despicable people will use despicable methods to make use of your body, do you understand? Although Haishi did not really understand what she meant, he understood it according to his own thoughts. It was for his own good after all. He nodded heavily. I understand, I will not call myself a cauldron in the future. Good boy. Sima Yue patted his head again. Fushi looked at them from the side and pouted. This guy looked about the same age as him, but why did Sima Yue touch his head and not his own? He wanted to go closer, but Sima Yue also touched his head like this. He had just taken a step when he was grabbed by the collar and thrown to the side. He waved his fist at Wu Lingyu as a silent protest. Wu Lingyu looked at him and did not allow him to come closer. Just you wait. Fushi threatened him with his eyes. You do it, you fake child. Fushi was speechless. No wonder Wu Lingyu did not stop Haishi from getting closer to Sima Yue. No wonder he did not let Sima Yue touch his head. Although he looked like a child, he was actually 250 years old. Sob, they did not treat him as a child at all. Haishi, do you know where the Zhao family is? Sima Yue asked. I don't know. Haishi shook his head. When we were escaping, my sister used a few random teleportation portals, so I don't know where the Zhao family is or where they are. Chapter 1988. Haishi was only a 7-year-old child. She couldn't remember much. Furthermore, under those circumstances, it was normal for her to not remember where the Zhao clan was. However, she thought of a question and asked Haishi, Did you guys reach the Zhao clan? Hesi blinked, then shook her head and said, No. I think so too. If you guys reached the Zhao clan, I'm afraid you guys wouldn't even be able to leave the main gate, much less run here. Sima Yue felt that something was wrong before. Now she understood. You guys ran away halfway. That means you don't know where the Zhao clan is. Yanjin felt a headache. I'm sorry. Haishi lowered her head in self-reproach. She was really useless. She didn't even know where the Zhao clan was. How could she save her sister like this? It's okay. We'll find someone to ask. Sima Yue comforted. But we've walked so far and there's still no one. Haishi said softly. There will be someone. Sima Yue said, Since we can't meet them in front, we'll just wait here. Wait, will someone come? She didn't know that the Zhou clan was chasing after them. They will. Sima Yue said. Rumble dash. She rubbed her stomach. She hadn't eaten for a day. She was so hungry. Hungry? Then let's make something to eat and wait for someone to send us news. Sima Yue said. Yan Jin raised his eyebrows. What can we make here? You know how to cook? Sima Yue took out pots and pans as well as the ingredients that Little Spirit had prepared. Yan Jin went over and saw the barbecued meat that was already seasoned. There were fresh ingredients and all kinds of seasonings. He sighed. You really have everything. Do you cook often? I used to cook a lot, but I don't cook much now. Sima Yue thought of the time when she was with Bei Gong Tang and the others. At that time they all wanted to eat and loved to eat her cooking. Later on, because she was busy, she didn't cook much. After experiencing so many things, those memories were still so clear. He wondered how they were doing in the human realm. Here. Wu Lingyu placed the ingredients in her hand, interrupting her sadness. Sima Yue pursed her lips and said to Fuxi and Hai Shi, what do you two want to eat? We'll eat whatever you cook, Hesi said. Fuxi was about to say that he wanted to eat, but when he heard Hai Shi's words, he curled his lips and agreed. Yes, Yue will eat whatever you make. It made sense to think this way. What if the food they ordered was not what she was good at and did not taste good? He might as well let her make whatever she wanted. That way it would definitely be her specialty. Sima Yue quickly cooked up a table full of delicacies. The aroma not only made Hai Shi drool, but also attracted Yan Jin and Bandit One. After eating and drinking his fill, Yenya rubbed his stomach. It had been a long time since he tasted food like this. Sima Yue kept all the utensils into the spirit pagoda and Little Spirit would clean them up. She took out 2 plates of spirit fruits and distributed them to everyone. She took one for herself and sat with Wu Lingyu, leaning against a tree and nibbling on it. I wonder when those people will arrive. She took a bite. It was sweet and delicious. It should be a while. The Zhou clan's speed is not good. Wu Lingyu said. Why don't you rest for a while? If I sleep after eating, I'll grow into a pig. She protested. I hope you can grow into a pig. Then you don't have to do anything. Wu Lingyu said dotingly. You want to raise a pig, but I don't want to. Why don't we try it? Try it? They waited for a day before the Zhou clan caught up. They did not expect it to be the second elder who brought people here. I didn't expect it to be him. It'll be difficult to get the answer now. Fuxi said. What's so difficult about it? Yue, you're good. I'll teach you another song. Yan Jin took out a jade flute and blew it gently. Before the second elder and the others could say anything, they heard Yan Jin's flute. Not good. Everyone turn off your hearing. The second elder said as he covered his ears. The others in the Zhou clan did the same, but it was useless against Yan Jin. His flute music still drilled into their ears and attacked their divine senses. Soon their eyes gradually lost focus and they became numb. Yan Jin played 2 tunes before the second elder was completely hypnotized. He put down the jade flute and looked at the second elder, asking, in which direction is the Zhao clan? How far is it? How do we get there? The Zhao clan is in the opposite direction. They have to pass by 4 clans' territories. However, I have a teleportation array to the Zhao clan here. It can reach the Zhao clan's territory. The second elder said as he took out a one-time teleportation array. Yan Jin took the teleportation array and handed it to Bandit One. Bandit One checked it. It was indeed a good teleportation array, so he nodded and gave it to Yan Jin. Yan Jin proudly lifted his chin at Sima Yue. Sima Yue made a "you're awesome" gesture at him. What do we do with these people? Yan Jin asked her. Sima Yue thought for a moment and came in front of the second elder, saying, their willpower is very weak now, right? If I enter, will I be attacked? No. Sound attacks were used to control people's willpower. Now that they were controlled, they naturally would not resist. Sima Yue received a confirmation and came to the second elder's side. She used her divine sense to enter his sea of consciousness and obtained his memories. The Zhao clan, the Qian clan. Her aura changed slightly. Everyone knew that she was angry. What's wrong? Wu Lingyu asked. The Zhao clan and the Qian clan sent people over to deal with the Haishi matter. The Zhao clan and the Qian clan originally agreed that the starfish would belong to the Qian clan and the Haishi would belong to the Zhao clan. The 2 clans have long been in cahoots. So the starfish is now in the Qian clan, not the Zhao clan. Sima Yue answered. Our next destination should be the Qian clan. Yan Jin stared at her and said, did you use this method to find out everything about the Main sect last time? Why, do you want to settle the score with me? I don't want to settle the score, but I finally understand where Chuning and the others fell. But your method is really useful. You can get information that others don't want to talk about. Isn't your method very powerful too? You took care of so many people in one go. Sima Yue was really impressed by his sound attack. This is also the credit of this flute. The better the instrument, the stronger the attack. That's true. My strength and weapon complement each other. It seems like a dabbler like me needs to find a powerful instrument. Sima Yue sighed. If you want a good instrument, I can recommend you a powerful one. The bone flute, a divine instrument. It's a pity that it hasn't appeared for many years. Chapter 1989. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book, web quick update, no pop-up window, free to read. When Sima Yue heard about the bone flute, she felt that the name sounded familiar. Yin Qi continued, this flute was made from the bones of an emperor. The material itself is very powerful, and the person who made it was a Qi refinement master. You can imagine its power. Even if it was the simplest of tunes, the power of the tunes would be multiplied by several times. Just like the song just now, you don't need to play it for so long. You can completely control these people in a few minutes, and that's when you're playing. So powerful. Sima Yue took a deep breath. Then where is the bone flute now? I don't know. It hasn't been mentioned for hundreds of years. I think it's been kept by someone. The owner of a divine weapon like this wouldn't publicize it. Once the news got out, it would cause endless trouble. So in the past, people only heard that it had appeared again, and not that it was in someone's hands. Really? What does the bone flute look like? It looks like a long bone with a skull embedded in the head. It looks familiar. Sima Yue tilted her head and thought for a while. Suddenly, her eyes lit up and she called Little Black out. Woof woof woof. The moment Little Black came out, it barked at Sima Yue a few times, complaining that she had neglected it recently. Sima Yue squatted down and patted its head, saying, Don't be angry, haven't I been very busy recently? Woof woof woof. Okay, you can stay outside for now. Sima Yue patted its head and said, Have you been eating medicinal herbs recently? Woof woof woof. Little Black barked pitifully. Haha, Little Spirit gives you medicinal herbs every day? He's doing it for your own good. Sima Yue comforted it with a smile. Woof woof woof, it felt wronged. Ha, Fushi's mouth twitched. He realized that the way she patted Little Black was the same as how Jiqing patted the West Sea. Fortunately, she didn't touch him like that. He had thought about it before. Woof woof woof. No, it's good for your health. You have to eat it every day. Sima Yue poked its head instead of stroking it. Alright, I called you out for a serious matter. Why don't you show me your treasures? Woof woof woof. Be good, I'll just take a look. If you don't listen to me, you'll have to eat 2 portions of the herbs tomorrow. Woof woof woof. No. Then take it out and show it to me. Sima Yue continued to poke its head. Woof woof woof. Yanjin and the others looked at Blackie. She actually had an ordinary underworld dog by her side? The conversation between a man and a dog was quite fun. I've never seen anyone talk to their contracted beast like that. Fushi shook his head. But what does she want from underworld dog? Blackie reluctantly took out a piece of metal. Sima Yue shook her head and said, Not this. Blackie took out another long sword. Sima Yue shook her head again. Then Blackie took out a black stone. Sima Yue's face darkened. She clenched her right fist and hit its head. If you don't listen to me, I'm going to get angry. Woo woo. Blackie had no choice but to take out a bone flute with a skull. Yanjin and Bandit's pupils shrank when they saw what Blackie spat out. Bone flute. Is it really a bone flute? Yanjin couldn't wait to take a look at the bone flute. Sima Yue quickly hugged Blackie and comforted it. Don't worry, he won't snatch it. Even so, Yanjin was startled by Blackie's killing intent in that instant. Woof woof woof, Blackie barked at Yanjin. It still looked like it wanted to rush over. That was its treasure. This man dared to snatch it. It wanted to bite him to death. Bite him to death. He's not going to snatch our treasure. He's just going to take a look and help us appraise it. Then he'll return it to us. Sima Yue pulled it hard, not letting it run over. Your contract beast is really... Yanjin's attention shifted from the bone flute to Blackie. You're not an ordinary underworld dog, right? You have good taste. Sima Yue gave him a look of approval. I'm not an ordinary underworld dog. Alright, don't bother about my Blackie. Quickly take a look. Is this the bone flute you were talking about? Yanjin looked at the bone flute in his hand. He put it to his lips and blew a few times. Thrill. How did you get this treasure? The last time the Ghost Realm opened the passage to Fair Eastern City, they used this. After that, I ruined it. The Ghost Realm people all died. After that, I don't know where Blackie found this. I originally kept it, but it kept it as a toy. Sima Yu said. I heard about that incident. I didn't expect the bone flute to disappear at that time. Yan Jin sighed. The 100 Ghost banner is in your hands and now the bone flute is with you. Your luck is really... Tell me if you don't die, who will? Che, you're just jealous. Sima Yue stretched her hand in front of him. He smiled and placed the bone flute in her hand. Only then did Blackie quiet down. He picked up the other treasures and played around Sima Yue. Bandit E walked over and saw Sima Yue playing with the bone flute. Your luck is really enviable. The bone flute is actually in your hands. This shows that you and Yanjin are really fated. And? Why do you say that? The bone flute used to be owned by Yanjin's sect. Their ancestor found a bone and asked someone to refine this bone flute. There are many tunes that require the bone flute to display its power. Bandit E said. Sima Yue stared at Bandit E, then stared at Yanjin. She turned her head and snorted. Your sect lost it a long time ago. It's mine now. Don't expect me to return it to you. Blackie also barked at Yanjin. He stared at him. If he dared to snatch the treasure, he would immediately bite him to death. The atmosphere instantly froze. Haishi and Fushi looked at them and blinked. They didn't know what to do. Who? Yanjin exhaled. I really want it back. However, I don't want to be your enemy. That's not wise. Woo woo, at least you know what's good for you. Bandit E looked at Yanjin in surprise. He then sighed. Alright, since that's the case. Then do as you wish. He knew that Yanjin had been looking for the bone flute. He wanted to find it for his sect. Now that he found it, he couldn't take it back. He must be sad. It's okay. As long as I know where it is, that it's fine and hasn't been used by bad people to do bad things. Yanjin suppressed the disappointment in his heart and smiled at him. Chapter 1990. Sima Yue could see Yanjin's disappointment. She thought that perhaps he had really been searching for the bone flute for so many years. But she was not willing to give her treasure to him. Fushi rolled his eyes and said with a grin, Actually, your problem is very easy to solve. Sima Yu and Yanjin looked over together. Fushi felt a sense of accomplishment as he puffed out his chest and said slowly, We can tell as well. Big brother Yen, you don't actually want this for yourself. You just want to get it back for your sect, right? Yanjin was silent and agreed with him. But this thing was found by Yue, so it belongs to her. You can't let her give it to you. Why don't you let her join your sect? Anyway, you taught her sound attack so she can be considered a disciple. You want me to join the Main sect? Cousin will be the first to kill me. Sima Yue was not willing. She did not like the Main sect. She hated the kind of sect that ate people's souls. It's not the Main sect, it's the Yin sect. Bandit E felt that Fushi's idea was feasible. The Yin sect is a hidden sect and is divided into many branches. Sound attacks are the lower branch, array masters, alchemists and so on. Yanjin and I are both from the Yin sect. There's such a sect in the Soul Society. Sima Yue exclaimed. It's not the Soul Society. The Yin sect is not divided into the Soul Society, the Ghost Society and the Avicii Hell. Bandit E said, as long as you have talent, you can be chosen from anywhere. Of course, after you finish learning, you can return to your own area. That's why the Yin sect's people are all over the 3 regions of the ghost world. There's such a place? They don't require their disciples to stay in the sect. Feels like they're nurturing talents. Sima Yue was speechless. You can say that. Bandit E sighed. No matter who you were before you came, you're all fellow disciples in the Yin sect. After you leave the Yin sect, you can be friends or enemies. If I remember correctly, your cousin is also a member of the Yin sect. Deja was from the Yin sect? Didn't they say that he was not talented? How did he enter the secret order? Could it be that when his mother improved his physique, she also bestowed him with a super strong talent? Do you know what Deja is best at? Yinya asked. Sima Yue shook her head. No wonder Mo said that he could find the soul race hiding at the border. Sima Yue said. Tracking is considered a branch of the Yin sect, that's why he was able to enter. Bandit 1 said, of course, the various branches of the hidden sect are relatively independent. When we talk about sects, we usually talk about the lower branches. What do you think? If you join the Yin sect, many powerful people will become your fellow disciples in the future. If you meet someone who is willing to admit it, it will be of great help to you. This way you can continue to have the bone flute, and Yan Qi can also fulfill his wish for so many years. This secret sect isn't easy to enter, right? Sima Yue said, besides if I join them won't this guy become my senior? That's not necessarily true. Although the Yin sect also looks at the time of entry, there are some special cases. Those who are super talented will be taken in as a disciple by some old guy. Then their seniority will be high. Who knows, they might even become his senior. But what if I get rejected, won't that be very embarrassing? Sima Yue was still unwilling. If I join the Yin sect, what if they want to snatch my bone flute again? This wasn't impossible. The bone flute was created by their ancestors, and they had been searching for it all these years. Now that they knew that the bone flute was in her hands, how could they give it up? This isn't impossible. Bandit 1 said honestly. Sima Yue glanced at Yan Qi. He hadn't said much since the beginning, but Bandit 1, who was a man of few words, spoke more. Although she didn't have a good relationship with Yenya, they had been together for a few months, and he had taught her the sound attack. Although that was in exchange for her saving his life. If the Yin sect people know that the bone flute is in your hands, they are different from Yan Qi. I'm afraid they won't give it up. As for the method, you can probably guess it. If you join the Yin sect and pass the test, you can also go to the array sect and learn our sect's array techniques. Bandit 1 continued to tempt her. Sima Yue was a little moved. She wanted to see how the Yin sect was like, but she was also concerned about the cardinal point's divine seal. She sighed and said, let me think about this. Anyway, I have other things to do now. And think about it. Bandit 1 didn't say anything else. He didn't like to talk about these things, but because of Yenya he said so much. She still had to make the final decision herself. Then let's go to the Chen family now and save Hai Xing first. Wu Lingyu knew that she was moved, but she was still hesitating, so she suggested. The Chen family and the Zhao family are neighbors. We don't know the spatial coordinates of the Chen family, so we will use this to go to the Zhao family first, then go to the Chen family. Sima Yue put down the Yin sect matter. She had to deal with the matter at hand first. Then what about these people? Fuxi pointed at the people from the Zhou family. Do as you see fit. She wasn't a bloodthirsty person, but she didn't have any sympathy for the people who were chasing after her. They are here to kill us anyway, so there's no point in leaving them alive. Why don't I show you the power of the bone flute? Yenya suggested. Sima Yue handed the bone flute to him and retreated behind him with the others, watching him play the flute, watching those people fall one by one to the sound of his flute. It only took a few minutes. When the last person fell, he put down the flute. The hand holding the flute was trembling. After a while, he calmed down and handed the flute to her. Sima Yue took the flute and sighed. The power of this flute is indeed powerful. You will slowly understand it in the future. Yenya said indifferently, retracting his gaze from the bone flute. Sima Yue pretended not to see it, put away the bone flute and sat on Little Black, saying, let's go. Yenya took out the teleportation array, opened it, and everyone stood inside, quickly disappearing from the spot. After half a day, the people from the Zhou family came and saw the ground full of corpses. Patriarch, it's the second elder and the others. Patriarch, the second elder is already. Where are the others? They all look the same. Zhou was silent after seeing the second elder and the others. He sighed after a long while, saying, bring their bodies back and give them a proper burial. Call the people outside back, don't bother about this anymore. Patriarch. Let's leave. The Zhou family looked at his back, feeling that he seemed to have aged many years in an instant. Everyone was silent. Going against Sima Yue and the others was a ridiculously wrong decision. Chapter 1991. Sima Yue felt that she might have been having a bit of a bad time recently. She had encountered the collapse of space twice in such a short period of time. However, this time there was a problem with the constructed space channel, so when the channel began to shake, they tore the space apart and came out. So King depressing. Which old men are fighting here? Don't they know that people with this kind of strength have to go to the void to fight? Yan Jin spat out a mouthful of blood and said bitterly. Bandit 1 took a breath and said, they are fighting in the void, probably just above this channel. Our luck is really a bit good. Such a small probability thing has happened to us. Sima Yue was depressed. She checked Hai Shi and Fuxi, and the two little children were not injured under the protection of Wu Lingyu and Huan. I don't know where this is. Huan looked around. The vast grassland made it impossible to tell where they were. According to the remaining space channel and the actual distance, We are still 1 day away from the Zhao family. Bandit 1 calculated and pointed in a direction, indicating that it was the direction of the Zhao family. However, we don't seem to have landed in a very good place. Sima Yue said. What's wrong? Are there any ferocious underworld beasts here? Haishi asked in fear. No, but something more troublesome than an underworld beast is coming. Haishi and the others soon knew what she meant. Someone was riding an underworld beast. Whoosh! A long arrow cut through the air and flew towards them, heading straight for Xiaohei's eyebrows. Sima Yue sat on Xiaohei with the two little guys. Originally, she wanted to attack when she saw the aggressive long sword, but when she found that it was coming for Xiaohei, she didn't care. Xiaohei was very angry when he saw the long arrow flying towards his head. He felt that he was being discriminated against. Otherwise, why didn't they shoot at him when there were so many people? It must be because he looked the weakest. Xiaohei was very angry and the consequences were very serious. The long arrow flew over at lightning speed. Yanjin and the others felt that this arrow was too strong and not easy to catch. Seeing that Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu didn't move, they felt a little strange. Did they trust Xiaohei that much? Pa! Little Hei slapped the long arrow to the side and stabbed the long sword into the ground, creating a huge pit with a diameter of more than 1 meter. So strong. Yanjin and Fei Yi weren't talking about the arrow, they were looking at Xiaohei. I didn't expect it to be so powerful. Fushi looked at Blackie, his jaw almost dropping to the ground. Wow. Little Black, you are amazing. Sitting on Little Black's back, Haishi was very excited and kept patting Little Black's back. Little Black didn't care about their surprise at all. It was still very angry. Sima Yu understood its anger. She grabbed one in each hand and took Fushi and Haishi down from its back. Woof woof woof, it ran towards those people. Everyone only felt a gust of wind blow past their eyes, and Little Black was already gone. Don't kill anyone yet. Sima Yue shouted at its back. The people who came were all sitting on nether beasts. There were nether lions, nether leopards, and nether wolves. The 7 or 8 people didn't expect their prey to not only not be killed, but also arrive in front of them so quickly. Woof woof woof. After Little Black arrived in front of them, it only paused for a moment, then bit at the nether lion in the middle. Overconfident. The people at the side sneered. A mere nether dog dared to go against their big brother. But the man in black on the nether lion's back flew up. At the same time his mount, the majestic nether lion, fell down just like that. How could it be, this? The others were stunned. They looked in disbelief at the nether lion that was more than 10 meters tall and the nether dog that was only the size of its leg standing in front of it. What kind of nether dog is this? They shouted, the black lion is a divine beast. A divine beast was bitten to death by a nether dog that didn't even have any spiritual power. How could this be? However, it really happened in front of them. The man in black landed gracefully on the nether lion's back. He stared at Little Black, his body emitting anger. Woof woof woof, Little Black barked at him but he didn't understand what it meant. At this moment, it felt that not being able to speak was also troublesome. Big brother, where did this nether dog come from? It can actually bite your little lion to death. It's too powerful. The people at the side looked at Little Black suspiciously. Just now, Aliang's arrow was swatted away by it. The man in black said. What? Aliang's strength is second only to you. His arrow, even we might not be able to catch it. How could it do it? This is not an ordinary nether dog. The man in black stared at Little Black, then turned his gaze to the front. Since this is not an ordinary nether dog, then let's catch it and study it. The girl in pink, Meng Ku, raised the whip in her hand excitedly. If you swing your whip down you will end up like that nether lion. Sima Yue's cold voice came from afar. In the blink of an eye she appeared on Little Black's back, sitting sideways and lifting her chin to look at Meng Ku. Meng Ku was angered by Sima Yue's contemptuous gaze, and the whip in her hand shook, about to swing over. Kura, stop. The man in black used his spiritual power to stop Meng Ku's whip, not letting it get close to Sima Yue. Big brother. Meng Ku turned her head and shouted. I'm Meng Fei, please forgive my sister. The man in black cupped his hands towards Sima Yue. Big brother? The others saw his good attitude and looked at him in confusion. Big brother, what are you doing? Meng Ku wanted to say something but Meng Fei glared at her. Well said. Sima Yue patted Little Black's head. Yue, did they bully you? Fushi ran over, waving her small arms and asked. Wu Lingyu put Fushi and Haishi down and came to stand beside Little Black. Huan naturally stood on her other side. Sima Yue shook her head at them. Little Black, did you vent your anger? Woof woof woof, Little Black barked twice. Well, I know you were obedient just now and didn't bite anyone. But this can't be used as a condition for not taking the medicine. Sima Yue said, but I can make your favorite barbecue. Woof woof woof, okay. I'll roast one for you. You can eat it alone, no one can snatch it. Sima Yue said, I've already promised you, have you calmed down? Woof woof woof, Little Black's barks became more cheerful. Hey, aren't you guys a little too condescending? Meng Ke cried out unhappily. Meng Fei was very calm, looking at Sima Yue and asked, Are you the Ghost King's little princess, Sima Yue? Remember the mobile version of the website. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.